Thanks for listening to the Von Haessler Doctrine podcast. Remember, you can hear the show every weekday from 9 to noon right here on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Atlanta, now am I on? Okay, now we're live from Sherwood Forest in the heart of Atlanta, Georgia. Hour one of the Von Haessler Doctrine starts right now. Woo! I am your lovable, huggable, mid-morning chat host, Eric Von Haessler, surrounded by the Doctrinaires, Tim Andrews, Autumn Fisher, and of course, Jared Yamamoto.
You are a true professional. That was clutch right there.
Thank you. I didn't really know what was going on. I just kept flapping my lips. That's what I was taught in radio broadcasting school.
Keep the dial moving.
They said, Eric, just keep flapping your lips. And yes, keep the dial moving. I think they said keep the needle moving. Because if you kept the dial moving, then you go to another radio station. Right. And for God's sakes, we don't want that to happen. And there's no reason for that. That's the last mistake of the day right there. We just got it out of the way. I do want to say, I can relate to Freddie Freeman today because I, too, am... I'm a gamer today. I'm hurting, and yet I'm going. So yesterday, I get home, and I make a decision. Nothing worse than hurting yourself when you're doing the right thing. If you hurt yourself when you're doing the wrong thing, you can learn a lesson. Don't do that again. I get home. You know, my trash day is Wednesday. I get home Tuesday afternoon. You know what, Eric? Just get out of the car. Go do that duty right now. Go get that trash. Get it out to the street and move on with your life. I had those soft tennis shoes on. I went over, and we're changing some rooms around in my house, so the bin is really, really heavy. I stumble, and the whole thing comes right down on my big toe. Oh. And let me tell you, that is a nail that's not going to last very long. Oh. I woke up this morning, it was still bleeding, for heaven's sakes.
It's still bleeding?
Well, yeah, it's like a blood blister underneath there. Ugh. And it's bad. It's bad. Oh, yeah, it's bad. And although it's not broken, because I don't think it's broken. That's why it's not broken. I think
you got an X-ray machine at all?
Well, no, it all happened at the nail up. There's no bone there. So it's just really, really bad. But hey, look, I'm just saying, Freddie Freeman, this is a big day with the Braves. I'm with you. And let me just say, we're not going to talk sports all day. Some people get angry, WSB, about us talking sports all day. But this is a big day for Atlanta. This is do or die. And I know that we don't want sports all day. You're not going to get it all day, but you're going to get some of it.
Good morning, Von Haessler Doctrine. This is Doug in Tequila. You know, you guys often say on the air, I don't listen to WSB to hear about sports. Well, you know, I'm kind of a different mind. I'm so sick of politics in this country, I don't give two Hershey squirts about any of them. Matter of fact, talk about sports 24/7. I'm all for that. I'm way more interested in to hear what you have to say about that than anything else. You go, guys. Bye.
I'm going to have to run that up the flagpole with my two dads, my two program directors, to see if we can do it 24/7. I don't even want to do it 24/7, but I'm very excited about this game. I can't wait to watch this game. I will be there watching. It's going to be a big day. And I will be watching.
Yes, it will be.
Now let's do this.
Headlines for Wednesday, October 9th.
You know, Eric, there's some open micers out there that really don't want you to watch today.
Why? Because every time I root for a team in any sort of playoff situation, heading for a championship situation, that team has lost.
Falcons. I'll let the open micers speak for themselves.
Von Haessler, this is Freddie F. from Johns Creek. Stop rooting for the Braves.
Eric, please, you have to promise us, don't watch the game on Wednesday. You're a curse.
Hi, this is President Pump. Eric Von Haessler, not the other one. You shouldn't watch tonight's Braves game because you're a jinx. And many people say this. It's not just me. Of course, I'm a Yankees fan, but Georgia's a swing state, so yeah, you gotta root for them. So what's up with Freddie Freeman? Guy's going through a slump there. Many such cases. Hope he gets out of it. Go Bravos, and Eric, like I said, don't watch the game.
The whole world say, let me just point this out. I've been watching every Buffalo Bills game, and we're 4-1. So I'm watching the game today, and there's no excuses. Now give me some headlines. You can start with the Braves if you want to. Where do we stand? Our own Jared Yamamoto has come up with his own batting order, his fantasy batting. Hand it to me, because I can't trust you with that many words.
Here you go, Blue.
That many words. Thank you. All right.
I tweeted it out, too, so that way
you tweeted it out.
So people could see it.
Because
There's
a feeling.
You got to go with a hot hand.
You got to go with a hot hand. Everybody loves Freddie Freeman. Who knows what it is, but he's batting like 150 or something in this series, right?
Very bad.
Whereas Swanson is batting 500. So you got to get to the point in the next series when Freeman's healthy again, right? So Tim Andrews, you are a baseball guy. Tell me if you think this is the dream lineup from Jared Yamamoto
for the 5:02 first pitch tonight at SunTrust Park.
Thank you, you shill.
WSB traffic here and there, going to the ballpark and leaving the ballpark.
Special programming today from 3 to 4. There's a show called the Von Haessler Doctrine that'll be on. That's right. Traffic every 6 minutes. We're going to get
wait
you
a minute,
in.
I don't like that idea.
Well, we'll have. You know what? We're going to have you on as a guest.
Will you be talking about the FISA warrants?
Yeah, we will be
the
talking
original
about
one,
the
not the
original
new one.
Okay.
Thank you.
Here's the. Okay, you say leadoff hitter Albies.
Yes.
You would follow Albies with Swanson.
Both are red hot.
In the coveted 3 spot, you would put Acuna Jr.
Because he's been getting a ton of hits with nobody on base.
He's stranded. So you want Albies to be out there, Albies and Swanson to be on base when Acuna comes in and does what
drives
he's doing.
him in. That's right.
All right. Then you would put Donaldson.
Yep.
And then batting 5th, you would put Freeman. And you'd follow that with Duvall, Markakis, McCann, and, of course, Fulte.
Yes.
I think that's not a bad lineup given what's happening right now.
I think it would light a fire under Freddie Freeman.
And it would also do that.
Switch Markakis and Freeman, and I think you got a perfect lineup.
You would put Markakis after Donaldson. You'd put him in the 5th slot.
Yes.
All right, I get that. I think so, but I don't know. We'll talk to Jay Black in a little bit.
And Peter Moylan.
And Peter Moylan, for heaven's sake. So we'll find out if this is a possibility, if there's going to be any changes whatsoever. Do you dance with the girl who brung you? Is that misogynist to say that in 2019? We used to say that all the time. A lot of times.
Your improper grammar is triggering me.
No, it's not. I mean, it's a saying. Dance with the girl who brung you. So if your quarterback has been great throughout the regular season, but maybe the last 2 weeks he wasn't that good, and you barely won the first playoff game. People, hey, maybe you shouldn't use that quarterback. And a lot of times coaches will say, dance with the girl who brung you. But I wonder if that's considered misogynist these days. Dance with whoever you love that brought you. How about that?
Sure, the person.
The person that you love.
How about from a power dynamic? The girl brought you, so she's the one in power, and it would not be misogynist.
So how would
Well, that's why you don't have to, you can just erase all of that and just say the person who brung you.
How about the person you love, though? Because that says that lets the world know you are virtue
Dance
signaling.
with the person who's consented to dance with you.
But love is important, is it not?
What if you're 25, she's 45, and you're her sugar boy?
Is there love?
Sugar boy.
Love for money.
Boy.
I couldn't think of another name. There's sugar baby.
Sugar boy.
I don't know. The sugar baby. What do you
Your sweet son.
All right, let's make it. What is a sugar boy again? Let's say this. Let's figure out what this is.
Okay, so if a guy is 50 and he's paying, rent for like a 22-year-old girl, she's a sugar baby, he's a sugar daddy.
Yeah. Right.
All right. So you flip the script. Sugar mama. What do you? Sugar boy.
So if you had a 48-year-old woman, and she's paying the bills, a cougar, is paying the bills for, say, a 22-year-old dude, you would consider him a sugar boy.
Sugar boy.
Sweetie.
Back in my day, he was the guy who brought the sugar on Mondays. Hey, the sugar boy's here.
Is your wife here?
Oh, sugar boy, that sack looks heavy.
I always thought that sugar boy hung around a little too much after I went to work.
How about a little extra sugar today?
All right, so we're going to talk with Moylan and Jay Black in the bottom of the hour. So give me some other stories.
This kind of came out of left field. Georgia will host a Democratic presidential debate on Wednesday, November 20th, guys.
Oh, wow. We just don't know where it's going to be.
We do not know. But it's assumed that it's going to be Metro Atlanta.
I think it's a good thing. I think Atlanta always. I was thinking about this. You got to get involved with these big event things because you got to remind the country that you're Atlanta and you're important. We always get on the big stage, and the rest of the country sees our sporting teams lose on the big stage, and then they forget about Atlanta. So you have to do things like this. So although it's the Democrats, a lot of people who listen to us, and they're
I don't
not big
mind
fans.
if it's the Democrats,
Brian Kemp,
Green Party,
Governor
or
Kemp,
any of that.
the
Just
Green
come
Party.
on down and have a good time here in Georgia.
So you're going to roll out the red carpet for the Democrat primary
That's
folks.
right. I'm sending our other governor there to be the master of ceremonies, and
Yeah.
she can show them around, show them some of the wonderful crosswalks we have here in Atlanta. They ought to be happy with that.
Yeah, the rainbow crosswalk down
All
there.
of them, if they got a rainbow or if it's just paint.
Yeah. So they haven't decided where it's going to be. This is going to be one right before Thanksgiving, right?
That's right.
Did you
It'll
say
be
November 20th?
November 20th, Wednesday.
It's a pop-up debate.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, we'll have pop-up bike lane going right to it.
Oh, perfect.
The Democrats will absolutely love that. I mean, my assumption in these situations is that these things happen at the Civic Center, but I guess not much happens there anymore.
Ain't nothing civic these days.
Yeah. What about the Fox? No, that's not in there. It'd be one of the college campuses, I suppose.
Wherever they are, I want you to know we're installing 72 different bathrooms for every gender.
Governor Kemp, for you to bend over backward that way to welcome political adversaries, I think is very big of you.
Yeah, thank you, Scott.
My name's Eric.
Now, the next debate is going to be October 15th in Westerville, Ohio. So that's next week.
Westerville, Ohio.
Westerville, Ohio.
Well, who cares about that? That's got to be they call that a trap debate because you got to have your eye on Atlanta. Atlanta is a top 10 market.
Yes.
Who cares about debating in Westerville, Ohio?
Excuse me, my name's Brad, and I live in Westerville, Ohio.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I'm sorry to say it's not. It's
pretty
not,
nice here.
Doesn't have the pizzazz.
It's got some pizzazz.
It does not have the pizzazz.
Oh, we don't have all sorts
Atlanta.
of sports teams and whatnot, but
Yeah.
we're pretty popular.
You have
area.
you have a big old Ferris wheel.
Yeah, we got one. Don't work.
No.
But it's there.
Yeah,
It
okay.
don't work, but you know what? It's right next to Bob Evans. You go to Bob Evans, get yourself a skillet.
Now, what did you say? The next one is in Westerville, Ohio. Was Columbus booked?
Oh, they can't do it there.
They can't do it in Columbus?
No, too triggering.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, you can't do that,
you gotta
especially
go.
with Monday being Columbus Day.
Why
You
don't,
cannot
we,
be.
why don't we just call it First Americans, Ohio? Wouldn't that solve the problem?
It rolls right off the tongue.
It does. FAO. First Americans,
Schwartz.
Ohio. Is it? Yeah.
But if you don't have enough debate news here, tomorrow.
I don't. I was just thinking that. Man, I hope he has another debate story because I just don't have it. I haven't gotten enough.
Tomorrow night on CNN, starting at 7:30, there will be a town hall with most of the candidates involved.
Town hall. Can I ask CNN something? What town? America? I mean, it's the town hall. What is the town? Yeah, we're just slapping two words together.
Right.
Gillette,
I'm
PA.
from a town.
You're all from a town. What?
Gillette, Pennsylvania.
Well, do it there.
Yeah.
What town? Do they go to a town, or is this just out of D.C. or Atlanta?
I'm assuming it's out of D.C. I didn't look too careful. I saw the little widget in the corner,
Who cares?
and they gave that little
Everybody,
countdown
even,
clock.
Honestly, the leftists who hate Trump or whatever, how can you watch these damn things? Wait till it gets to like 5 or 4 people, and then you can have some kind of debate. There's no these debates where they go, everybody raise your hand if you're in favor of happy children. What
I don't
debate?
like happy kids. I'm not raising my hand.
What? It's
Yeah, kids
like,
don't have enough grit these days. I need them to be.
Toughen
yeah.
up.
It's like
unhappy.
It's like the word debate, like town hall debate. Doesn't what debate? Like this, who's famous for debates? Debates like Harvard and Oxford, places like that.
Yeah,
debate
societies.
Debate societies. In any kind of Harvard debate on any issue, has anybody ever? Has any moderator said, "Raise your hands if you agree with"? That's not a debate. That's like a job interview, but you have to go in with 6 other people and you all answer the same questions at the same time. That's an interview of 10 people on stage. It's not a debate. A proper debate doesn't even have a moderator. I don't think the Lincoln Douglas debates had a moderator. I think they just understood how it went, which was you speak, your time, you speak, then there's going to be this time for that, and then everybody
And I don't think Nixon and JFK had one either.
Did they? I don't know.
They had a person there, but they didn't moderate the debate.
Is that true?
Yeah, I believe so.
Well, that's another thing is these debates, I'm glad we're going to have one in Atlanta because anything that's good for Atlanta is good for Atlanta, and I'm a fan of Atlanta.
Now, they did say Georgia specifically. It might not be in Atlanta. They might put it in Valdosta.
Westerville, Georgia? No.
Up here in LJ, we're having a big debate.
Live from Blue Ridge.
Not snow.
No, but these debates, there's one thing you can do to make all the debates more effective. Get rid of the audience. There's no need for an audience. Now, I understand you go back, oh, well, you just talk about Lincoln Douglas, there was an audience. Yeah, but there were no television cameras. There were no preening. You didn't think of the idea of, my network has a debate. I've got to take the news person that I'm trying to promote now, the person that we've decided is the next star at our network, and I've got to cram that person into the monitor. We had a couple of debates that I didn't watch with the Democrats where there were 10 people on stage and 5 different moderators asking questions. Now, if you break that up properly and get everybody involved, you got yourself a good volleyball game, but you do not have a good debate.
Warning! Do not chug milk before listening, because you will laugh out loud.
All right, I have another piece of information that's relevant to what's going to happen in the sporting world in Atlanta this afternoon. Here's a headline from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. So this isn't coming from just anywhere. Headline is, St. Louis holds top spot in chlamydia and gonorrhea in the country. So I just want to let our Bravos know. I know all baseball players know each other, and boy, Freddie Freeman is awful chatty over there at first base with everybody who stops by. Don't get too close. There's a damn good chance that one of these players for the Cardinals has some kind of STD. I don't know how that stuff gets spread around, but you're just best off.
I thought they called it flyover country. Apparently it's layover country.
It's layovers. Maybe, yeah, it's the place you stick around for 1 or 2 days and then take an STD with you.
We might go to Branson, but we're going to stay here for a little.
If you happen to notice that once the runner gets to first, if Freddie plays a little further off the bag than you're used to, he may have heard me tell this story. You don't want to get too damn close. Let's see, this says St. Louis has retained the dubious distinction of leading the nation in sexually transmitted diseases, ranking first in 2018 among counties and independent cities for the rate of gonorrhea, and after dropping to third place a year ago, regaining the top spot for chlamydia. The city was fourth for its syphilis rate.
Well, that's good. They're going down?
Yeah, they're moving down on that. As chlamydia rises, you know how this is like a weather thing.
Right.
As the chlamydia rises, you'll have an inverse relationship and the syphilis rate will fall.
It's a wedge pattern.
Yeah, it's a wedge pattern.
And what else is there to do in St. Louis?
Well, you can go to that arch. Oh, God, don't even get inside that thing.
No, they don't wash it.
Full of STDs. All right, here we go. The big day for this town and our Braves. That's why we brought in WSB Sports Director Jay Black is here.
You can feel it in the air, and it's only 9:30 in the morning.
I can feel it in the air.
Big events coming later today.
Some of that stuff in the air was produced by Tim Andrews, I want you to know. But I know what you're talking about. It's not all that. It's not all that. Fake Jay Black is also here for some commentary.
Yeah, that's right. I'm here. We could probably talk about the scents emanating throughout the studio.
And
let's talk about sports.
We got a special guest, former middle reliever for your Bravos, Peter Moylan. You there?
I am here. How you guys doing?
Doing well, Peter. You feeling good about today?
I am. I think Fulty's going to carry us home, and I think 3, 4, 5 hitters are going to wake up, and we're going to be running off into the championship series.
Oh, and hold on. One thing was that we wanted to have special music for Peter Moylan, and can you find? I know it's hackneyed, but Down Under, Men at Work, Australia. My favorite Australian band is Crowded House, but we couldn't think of anything that's got good pump. There we are. Let's do it again, ladies and gentlemen. Peter Moylan.
Man.
How much do you hate that song, Peter?
Listen, it's funny you say that because they forced me to come out to that song every time I pitched for about the first 3 months of my career. So, and every single Australian that's ever played professional baseball has come out to that song at one time of their life.
Mm-hmm. And when did you stand up for yourself? Was there a moment where you just put your foot down and you said, "Damn it, it's the song or me"? Make your pick.
It was 3 months in when I finally realized that I was going to be around for longer than a week and I had some pull. I thought, you know what, guys, I'm going to choose my own song. Thanks very much.
Tie me kangaroo down. Tie me kangaroo down.
All right, so it's interesting that you now, Jay Black. How do you feel going into this game? We all feel that we know the Braves can do this. We've seen this done many times before. There appears to be just a little bit of weakness in that batting lineup right now.
They should have won Monday 10-2.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they had the guys on every single inning, and this lineup can't be kept held down with runners in scoring position this long, right?
No, that's what we're hoping law of averages play out, and between Freeman and Josh Donaldson and Markakis and McCann and Joyce, these are the guys that have carried us to the point we're at now. Eventually, they're going to come around. Freddie, I'm a little concerned about the elbow. He says that it doesn't hurt, but you don't see a guy who's that good struggle as he is at the moment. But Chipper said it the other day. You can't time when you're going to slump. So it's just unfortunate that the 3, 4, 5 guys have run into a little bit of a hard week, but. It takes one good game to get someone's confidence back, and this could be it.
Is there any particular thing that the Cardinals are doing, any way they've pitched them that's been a little different that's caused the problems, or is it just a bad series?
I haven't noticed that. Look, their pitching's great. Their starting pitching coming into this series was something that I was concerned about. But the way that our starting pitchers pitched, you obviously we've matched just as well as them. So unfortunately, the only thing that's keeping us back, we should have won game 1. Obviously, and we should have won on Monday, obviously, but the good thing is the games that they've managed to come back and win have more games that we've actually lost than they've actually won, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. Anything you say, Peter Moylan, makes sense to me. You know what you're talking about, and you've got a foreign accent, which makes you seem smarter than everybody else. So I'm just gonna go with that. It's interesting that I felt the same way, especially in Monday's game. We were putting so many people on base that I felt like, okay, this is sloppy and it's murky. But we're just putting too many people on base, and we're definitely going to win. Somebody's going to get in, and we're going to win. That didn't happen. Now, it's interesting that you mentioned Joyce. My friend here, Jared Yamamoto. You're familiar with Jared Yamamoto, Peter Moylan?
Of course I am. The Yamamator. Yes.
Yes. I believe you once told him to put a ring on it.
Yes, once.
Well, I came in the wrong time of this conversation.
Yeah.
But all this pressure from all sides. Thank you, Peter, for that.
Jared Yamamoto, huge fan of the Braves all of his life.
Mm-hmm.
And he brought in, he would change the batting order. First of all, just answer this question first, Peter Moylan. Would you make any changes to the batting order?
I would make one change.
What would that be?
It would be to start Duval over Joyce today.
Okay, then you and Jared Yamamoto are on the same page, except Jared Yamamoto has his own batting order. Can I run it by you and see what you think of this batting order?
Brace yourself for this one.
Please do.
Okay, he says you lead off with Albies.
All right, that's the first problem. Sorry.
Okay, no, we're good.
Sorry. I couldn't.
Now hold on. Now hold your rejection or your rebuttals until I get through the entire batting order.
Sorry.
This is Jared Yamamoto's dream batting order. Lead off with Albies, follow that with Swanson, then Acuna Jr. What he's saying is that Acuna is getting on, but he's being stranded. So
he's hitting very well in this series.
Get these two in front of him, and then bring up Acuna to knock somebody in. Then he puts Donaldson in the 4th slot, Freeman in the 5th slot, Duvall, Markakis, McCann, Fulty. Who wants to start here? You hold on to your thoughts there, Peter Moylan, and we'll start with Jay Black.
Acuna's leading the off. Acuna is your leadoff hitter. He hits first.
Okay.
Albies hits second.
All right.
Freddie, you're riding or dying with Freddie hitting third.
You're just going to stay there.
The only changes I'm making, I might move up Dansby a little, and as Peter said, Duvall starts today.
Yes, Tim Andrews.
Oh, no, it's fake Jay Black.
Sorry, it's fake Jay Black. I apologize.
See, I got to disagree with real Jay Black. See, what I'd do is I'd start Chipper, and then I'd put Glenn Hubbard in at fifth.
Well, Chipper did catch the pop-up that was hit to him the other day, so that is a start.
I thought that was a sign that we were going to win that game.
And I'd start Warren Spahn tonight. Is what it was.
He's not available. He is the one guy in the organization who's not available.
All right, Peter Moylan is there. You already told us you would only make one change. You would put Duvall in, I guess, and put him right where Joyce was.
I'm with Jay. I mean, I'd move Swanson up a couple of spots in the lineup, but I wouldn't make too many changes. You know, this is a lineup that has performed 95% of the year, and I have faith that, you know, you go change your lineups now, it looks like you're panicking, and that's the last thing you need.
Okay, now there's a couple of things I want to throw out there. I don't know if you guys know this about. First of all, we have people from St. Louis in town, right? Those fans travel, right?
Yeah, they travel.
And so we'd like to say Atlanta welcomes you. We hate you, but spend a lot of money while you're here. So I do want to, and maybe some of the Cardinals couldn't sleep. Maybe they're up. Hey, what's going on the radio? So let's get inside of their head a little bit. Did you know that in 2017, St. Louis was designated one of the worst cities to live in America? Anybody aware of this? One of the worst cities.
Wow. Wallet Hub said that?
Yeah. Oh, no, it wasn't. This was actually
Studies, Surveys, and Polls baseball edition.
24/7 Wall Street.
Okay.
Fourth worst city to live in, just above Detroit, Flint, Michigan, and Birmingham. I don't know why Birmingham made it. So let me just say this to everybody in St. Louis. Win or lose, you got to go back to St. Louis. We live in Atlanta. And the other story is, did you know that St. Louis is the STD capital of the world? I just want people to understand what we're up against here. We not only have to win this baseball game for baseball and the baseball gods, but this is good versus evil, people.
Absolutely.
This is a good city versus an evil city. Peter Moylan, I don't expect you to jump in on that commentary, but can I say to you, Peter Moylan, that I've been to St. Louis a few times, and I don't like the people in St. Louis. I find them to be arrogant people, and they're very, very, very proud of the fact, apparently, that they have an arch. And I'm not that. Are you impressed by the arch, Peter Moylan?
I'm not impressed by the arch, but I have to disagree with you. I think the St. Louis people are some of the most respectful baseball fans. Now, these are just baseball fans, but they are some of the most respectful, intelligent. Yes, they know the game. They know when to cheer. They don't need to be told to stand up and clap. They know exactly. And even when you walk around the streets, they respectfully ask you for autographs. They're not. Mm-hmm. They are very nice people.
They're judging you inside. You know that, don't you?
I'd rather live in St. Louis than Brisbane.
Hey, wait. Fake Peter Moylan. Are you getting down on Brisbane?
Yeah, I don't even have an arch.
So, you know, I think what this comes down to, Peter, Jay Black, I have to be honest with you. In the 90s, I went and did stand-up comedy in St. Louis, and that crowd failed to recognize my comedic genius. I can tell you that. Right. I may be carrying that with me. So, Jay Black first. What do you see happening tonight? We all know what we want. What we want is we want to see just the Braves that we've come to know and love, and just the bats come alive, and we win this thing 4-1 or something. But dude,
I really want Fulte to put up another good performance. He's come so far in the last month and a half. I really, for him, don't want something to unravel here tonight. I don't think it will. I really think him and Flaherty are going pitch for pitch again. I really see a good pitcher's duel tonight.
If that doesn't happen, Peter Moylan, do you think someone like Soroka if there are problems early, do they get Soroka in there early or something, or what do you think the plan would be?
I think the plan would be to have Fried come in straight after Fulte. He's had 2 days off now. Mm-hmm. He has been extended as a starter, so he can go multiple innings. Plus, he's been so good. He was a little tired the other day, but I think he's going to be the first option out of the bullpen. But I think it's going to be typical Braves fashion. We're going to probably be down by 1 run going into the 7th inning. We're going to make everyone have a heart attack. Mm-hmm. And we're going to walk them off in the 9th inning, and we're going to end up going to the championship series. That's how I see it. Fulte's going to go 6 or 7, and then it's going to be up to Max Fried and the rest of the bullpen to hold it down.
Now, let me ask you a tough question, Peter Moylan. If we get past this and we get into the NLCS. Do you think Dallas Keuchel starts the first game?
That's a great question. It all depends on how this game goes and who throws. But I would say if they stay away from both Keuchel and Soroka would be my game one starter. I'm also hoping it's against the Nationals too. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yes, that would be a blast. Jay Black, what do you see?
The Nationals are trying to win their series using the same 4 pitchers in every game, which amazes me that they've gotten this far, and yet which would set up great for the Braves. But we got to get through tonight.
Got to get through tonight, and you know what's really special beyond the game, Peter Moylan? I take it you'll be down at the ballpark. Do you have any responsibilities? Are you broadcasting for anybody?
I am not working at all tonight. I'll just be floating around the stands like the rest of us.
Oh, very, 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 very good. Now, what do you expect? Oh, I was going to tell you that we have programming changes here. This is a very special thing. The Von Haessler Doctrine will be on from 3 to 4 this afternoon to help you get into the ballpark or get around the traffic if you want to try to avoid what's happening. So I know Peter Moylan will be listening to that because
you guys are everywhere.
Yeah, he's a huge fan of Tim Andrews and his voices. I don't think he cares much for me, to be honest with you, but he loves he loves the man of 1,000 voices.
If I were a program director in Australia, I'd put you on an O-Bot.
You know, if you think it was difficult to find bands other than Men at Work to play behind you. Yeah. We were trying to find some band from the Czech Republic, and we couldn't find anything.
Oh, that's a tough one. Yeah.
How did that stint in the Czech Republic go?
It was phenomenal. It was different, but it was really, really good. And yeah, talking about language, there is no chance you can learn that language. That's the worst song in the world.
Don't even try. All right, Peter Moylan, I hope you'll come back and talk to us about this no matter what happens tonight. Because I love you, and in a professional way.
Easy.
I love you. I love you in a professional way. Yeah, there's no smile like a Peter Moylan smile. And Jay Black.
I love you in a professional way, too.
Hey, it's mutual in a professional way.
Right.
And you're stuck with me. You got to talk to me no matter what happens. And fake Jay Black, any last words?
Nobody loves me.
Go Bravos!
Love can make you weep, can make you run for cover.
Hey, by the way, I have. I'm doing. I said a couple weeks ago that we were done with all the things for Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, but we're not. I'm doing the podcast, the music podcast this weekend.
Yeah, the What the Riff podcast.
And I have to pick what albums. And did you tell them what I wanted to do?
I did. I just emailed them this morning.
They have certain rules and stuff. I was going to do Abbey Road, but I figure everybody talks about the Beatles all the time. It's not a big deal. So I want to change things. So it's 2 albums, and then for some reason 1 single from September of 1969.
They cover years.
Okay. So within the years that they're covering, I'm thinking I'm all right with Crowded House, Woodface, Driving and Crying, Scarred But Smarter. And then here's the little detail. They said September 1969. Can I pick a song that was released, where the single was released in September 1969, as opposed to, it didn't chart until November, I think.
You can.
But I want to choose Wedding Bells Blues by the Fifth Dimension.
Bill!
Yeah, because...
I love that song.
Well, I know, but a lot of people don't know who the songwriter was. Laura Nero. No one talks about her because she was a recluse, but she wrote a bunch of songs that were hits for the Fifth Dimension, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. What? So it's a wider conversation that I can bring to the table.
Did she start the DJ duo Nero, too?
Yes, that's her son.
Oh, okay.
Wedding Bells Blues. I love you, Bill. You know, this is one of the first songs that was playing in my house that I remembered. I was 5 years old. I don't know who was playing it, but it was playing constantly. But I didn't know that it was written by Laura Nero. But you gotta hear more of that. What's it? What the Riff? I'll be on that podcast.
That's right, on Saturday.
Do that on Saturday because they were very nice and gave a lot of money to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta.
Great people. You'll have fun.
Oh, here's a little secret. I would have done it for free. But I held out for the kids. All right. Here's a little something for all the St. Louis people, or things you may not know about St. Louis. I'm reading here. one of the highest crime rates in the country. And, sometimes baseball players defect from the horrible places they come from. So I want to let any St. Louis Cardinals that are listening to this right now, you can come to my house and stay there until we work out all the paperwork, so long as you don't play tonight. And then you can defect from that horrible city of St. Louis. And I will be, I'm beloved. You may not know this because you're from that horrible St. Louis, but I'm a beloved member of media in this town. And if you have me vouching for you, I believe that you will be allowed to defect from that horrible St. Louis to the wonderful Emerald City of Atlanta. Yes, sir.
All you have to do is run into Chick-fil-A and scream asylum.
That's all you have to do.
And we'll take you.
And we will take you. But you can't play tonight.
Paul Goldschmidt, we're talking to you.
We're talking to you. Absolutely.
Come on over. Come on over, baby. We'll find somewhere for you to play.
You can stay at my house. There's no need. Listen, okay, it's one game. Maybe it's on the way to the World Series. But this is your life. I get you into Atlanta. You can bring your whole family. You'll never have to deal with that horrible cesspool of St. Louis again. That's the offer. It's on the table. Let's do this.
More headlines for Wednesday, October 9th.
You see, I don't play baseball, so I'm trying to do what I can for my team.
We also have a football team, and they don't.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, do we?
Yeah.
Like on this week,
Well,
right
we
now,
have a pro team. It just
we do have. Okay. all
yeah,
right.
on paper.
Yeah.
I saw this bizarre playoff scenario. Obviously, this would never happen in MLB.
Bizarre playoff, ladies and gentlemen. I wish we had some flange sound effects so that I could say bizarre playoff. What'd you say? Behavior?
Bizarre playoff scenarios.
Scenarios.
Where somebody had suggested in the article. I wish I could find it again.
It's my favorite breakfast cereal, by the way. Scenarios.
Yeah,
it's anything you want it to be. All right, go ahead.
It's part of this complete breakfast.
But the winner of each series.
The winner of each series.
Of each series. So the National League Division Series, you have the Braves playing the Cardinals, you have the Nationals playing the Dodgers, and so forth, right?
And so forth and so on.
And so forth and so on,
right.
yes.
And such.
And what would happen was, in this very cool scenario, is the team that wins the series gets to take the best player from the losing team for the rest of the playoffs.
And you don't.
And the worst player gets murdered.
Wow.
Not without a trial.
The trial was the game.
Well, I guess you're right. So then the verdict is the final score.
Sorry.
Now, this is probably...
does the other team, would the other team have to continue to pay that player?
For the playoffs, yes. But then the second the season's over, you get your player back. It was a Deadspin article that I saw. It was interesting. I mean,
you were stealing ideas.
It's a theory.
It's because the Deadspin, everybody wants to turn every sport into reality TV. They think, man, if we can just put some Survivor into this.
Let's give one
kids.
player a knife.
Yeah, we get the kids.
Nobody knows who has it.
You can see people. See, the thing is, the kids today, they're pretty stupid and they can't concentrate. In baseball, you got to so we got to throw some stuff. Anybody thought about, I don't know, you give 7 people who walk into the stadium randomly get a lawn dart.
Yes.
And between innings 2 and 7, they can take a shot at anybody on the field they want. The kids
I bet you there'd be a lot less of base stealing.
Yeah.
Can you explain the infield lawn dart rule?
I'll have to look it up. That's how it is. It's so funny.
The pitcher has a gun.
I've got an idea. Major League Baseball, National Football League, National Basketball Association, NASCAR, National Association of Stock Car Racing Association, something like that.
Hey, that's a NASCAR.
All of you, I've got an idea. Ignore the young people. They'll get older. Don't ruin your games to try to appeal to people who do not have the attention span of a ferret. I don't think you should bring your product down. Hey, I got an idea. Let's try to get the millennials interested in baseball. We'll just have a lot of shiny objects dangling all over the outfield. They won't be able to... We'll put one lucky fan's iPhone messages up on the big board so they can watch the game and follow their
Eric,
Insta.
do you get a first baseman? Do you pick a pitcher? I mean, there's lots of different scenarios out of this.
I got a scenario, the one that's been baseball since the 1800s. Well, yes.
It's Clive here.
Oh, Clive Cliverson, my radio guru / consultant.
Yes, I was reading with MLB yesterday.
Yeah.
I dabble in a lot of different things.
Yeah.
I said, one of the good things you could do, here's how you get millennials, right?
Yeah.
Call the bullpen. You get the reliever to come in on a bird scooter.
Yes.
And then you get product placement.
You can text the vote who comes in from the bullpen too, Clive. We talked about that.
I remember on Twitter.
Do you want Tomlin to stay in? Text 4.
If you consultants in sports get this right, we will make all of sports in America just as crappy as television has become.
That's our goal.
Good luck.
Yeah, and while they're in the dugout, like Jeff Probst is there, and he's giving you Survivor-type games.
Oh, yeah. You can't go out in relief until you put together the puzzle on the beach.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Come on in, guys.
I think that's when I tuned out of Survivor, like early in season 3. Like, another puzzle on the beach. I'm gone. I never came back. I can't believe it's still on. All right, what else you got?
Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms.
I know she's the mayor.
Well, she's everyone's mayor. She's every man's mayor.
Yeah, she's the mayor of America.
Mayor of America. She announced that Midtown's 10th Street is slated to receive the city's first pop-up bike lane, guys.
Oh, wow. When are we slated to have the first pop-up bike lane fatality? Would that be about 2 days later? Boy, there's so much room in that area. But I was thinking of, but I drive those roads when you get down there, Monroe, 10th, Piedmont, come out, all that area.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when it's really, really like 4, 5, 6 o'clock.
It's luxurious.
I think to myself, all of this wasted space. They should do something. There's so much wasted space here. People are just driving through, no problems.
Yeah. Do you ever just sort of like weave back and forth just because you're bored? It's just so open road.
Open. Yeah. It's like going from LA to Vegas.
Haven't they already closed off one lane of 10th Street to create a permanent bike lane?
Yeah. Well, that's down there by the park.
Yeah, by the park, but it's just going to go all the way down.
It's just going to extend basically one more block.
So avoid 10th Street for now.
And they would create temporary barriers and signage that would identify bus access points and car crossings, so that way you can see when you're going down.
Why are they going to spend all the money that they would
what's that mean, for a week?
Bike lane?
Yeah, was it for a week? A pop-up means it's only there for a while, right? It's temporary.
This is a test here. It's a $5 million test to see.
So what's
that's too much money to spend on something that they might not use.
Look who's suddenly getting all civic-minded. She doesn't even live in the state
and
anymore.
Puerto Rico, there are still people in the mountains.
Uh-oh,
no power.
Somebody read a news story. We're all in trouble.
I got a news for you, Eric.
You got a news for me?
I got news for you.
I got a news.
I got a news for you.
Is this
some news?
Is this a quantum chunk of news?
Boy, be quiet. He's trying to give you a news.
This is a temporary bike lane that they're calling a pop-up bike lane because millennials react to the word pop-up.
Oh, I know. We never played on the air. Did we play on the air? I think we did. The Beltline video that Atlanta put together. It was all full of these buzzwords for...
how to stay safe on the bike lane.
Sustainable pop-ups.
Wow. Like hipsters, they can't. It's the greatest honey trap ever. You just put those two words out there, they can't resist. Sustainable pop-up. Sustainable. All my sociology professors said the best word in the whole wide world is sustainable. Everything must be sustainable. Oh, forget the fact they never defined it. Sustainable.
Well, this is all part of the city's LIT initiative.
That's
where
right.
The lane, something.
Yeah,
lane and transportation.
Clive Cliverson, my radio
Lit's
guru.
another word dummies like.
Yeah, my radio guru.
These bike lanes is lit.
Yeah, don't mean anything. But
it turns out I don't really like riding my bike around. I get real sweaty, but it's lit.
This is lit.
I kind of hate these bikes.
To consultants, it doesn't matter if it's radio, television, a city. Consultants basically just look at the world as full of really dumb people who can be tricked into things.
Absolutely. Word up, my dude. Yes. Keeping it real in Atlanta's bike lane.
If we use the right buzzwords, millennials will buy coffee, says Maxwell House's Twitter feed.
San Antonio's trying to steal our clout with their pop-up bike lanes.
Woke to the last drop.
That's it. I'm never going to Starbucks again. Give me good old-fashioned Maxwell House. They're woke to the last drop. I respond to the word woke.
And it's caffeine, so it makes sense.
Hey, if it's woke, I'm in favor of it because I was taught in college that certain words are good and some are bad. Like Republican. That's a bad word. Bad.
No, don't say that.
But then there's words like sustainable.
Yeah.
These bike lanes have been oppressed for too long.
Pop up.
Whee! Oh my God, he says smart.
I don't think that the kids are any dumber these days on that level. I think all young generations can sniff out government agencies using buzzwords. But I don't know. This is the first generation that wants more rules.
You're sounding like a driver. I'm a non-driver. Thank you very much.
The difference was that things were geared toward younger kids. I feel like in the 90s, it would be like Toucan Sam has his hat on backwards and he's rapping about
He's rad.
Right, he's rad. He's eat my shorts. But now
he's still in prison though, right? I mean, that did not end well.
Oh, he had a big toucan.
But then now the age of that focus is getting older.
Yeah, because
right. It's not the tweens anymore.
Could it have anything to do with the fact that as people grow older now, they're unwilling to let go of their childhood?
100%.
So now we can go. Although I would say I think
it's adulting to ride a bicycle.
We were talking about that at the Weird Al show.
Yeah? You and Weird Al?
No.
Yeah, as you were attending the Weird Al show with other 44-year-olds. I love Rocky Road. Woo!
He did more than that.
Responding like they're seeing the Stones up there or something. Woo! This is my childhood all over
I threw my
again.
calculator on the stage.
Eat it.
I think, but the one thing that would make me question that is, it is true, this is the first generation of young people who have demanded more rules. That's what I find amazing.
It's because our life is so chaotic. We have a president who's just so volatile that we need to create order.
Okay. And so that's why you need more rules. Most other young people, almost every other generation of young people have given the establishment and the government the middle finger and said, we don't need your rules.
It's not about
rules. We'll do whatever we want. Well, why do you tell on people? Why do you tell on people all the time? Why are you a nanny state? Why do you want people to get in trouble every time they make a mistake? That's called a snitch. That's called a tattletale.
Well, then call me a snitch and replace the S and the N and replace it with a B.
As a non-driver, my spouse and I, or my partner and I, have rights.
As a non-driver, if I'm a driver,
cis non-driver.
If you're a non-driver and I'm a driver, in that moment, you have no rights. All right. Toss me another story there, Jerry Yamamoto.
This is from the BBC, Eric. Johnson & Johnson ordered to pay man $8 billion over breast growth. How
much does a bra cost these days? $8 billion? Because he so a few what? You know what's interesting about this story? Everybody's going after these drug companies. I'll tell you this right now. It may not be popular to say this, but I was never popular, so it doesn't bother me. We're in the process, possibly, of killing the goose that lays the golden egg. This spoiled, rotten idea we have that, it's 2019. We would have had all of these life-saving and life-altering drugs anyway. It's no big deal. I don't have to show any appreciation whatsoever for the men, women, backers, researchers that created all of these drugs that make our lives longer, so that gives us more time to bitch about the drug companies. Things aren't perfect in this world. But you look at this one. All right, so this guy grew some breast. He said, I wasn't warned that was one of the side effects. The drug that he's talking about is an antipsychotic. What I want to know is, okay, enough about the breast. I think we can do something about that. Are you still psychotic? Did it work as an antipsychotic? Because if I was related to you and I had to choose, he can continue to be a psycho with no breast, or over here we have a pill where he will no longer be a psychotic. He's going to have some little man boobs going on. Which one are you going to pick? But you have to go deep into the story because the press is again. This is the goose that lays the golden egg. I mean, even when it comes to heartburn, people used to have to change their diets forever between 38 and 42 because their bodies couldn't handle the foods that people loved most. Now, you can pop a pill and eat whatever the hell you want. Now, you could debate whether that's a good idea or a bad idea, but it's a possibility that exists. That's not life-saving, that's life-enhancing. Before we take down all of these drug companies, is it too much to ask that we take one moment and go, wow, a lot of hard work from a lot of good people to create a lot of drugs we didn't have. Psychotics can be made to be stable and become good family members and hold down jobs. That seems like a golden egg. Okay, yeah, he's got some man boobs. But he's not a psycho anymore. Doesn't anybody care about that? One of my two dads, Pete Spriggs, was just in here telling me how wonderful I am. Actually, the whole crew. It turns out, sometimes you can be so good you actually cause problems for radio stations. It turns out that our audience has grown so large that we have to build a new building. I don't know how that works, but it turns out that WSB no longer has the capacity to house the audience of the Von Haessler Doctrine.
It can't contain our talent.
It cannot contain our talent and our great fans.
What if we build on the old white columns out there, where the old house used to be?
Yeah, we're taking over the past, we're taking over the future, and we're right here in the
and
here
we're
and
now.
And we're now as well.
This is
That's why it's called a present. I don't know.
Good opportunity to build a smart building with the toilets that don't flush and no air conditioning that can go below 75.
What you're saying is you would like this new space to be sustainable.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's build it into the surrounding environment to make less of an impact on its ecosystem.
And
room.
We'll build it all out of recycled tires. But thanks to the audience, you're so large, you're causing problems for my employer. And what my employer doesn't know is the problems have just begun. Ooh. Let's do this right here.
What the?
Seriously, what the?
WTF with Autumn Fisher.
Hey.
What the?
Oh, no.
What the?
That's Autumn's 1.5-year-old.
2.5-year-old.
2.5. Well, I got time slips away when you're as old as I am. Or 2.5-year-old Pete. Not the smartest kid in the world.
Yeah, one of your dads.
Yes. No, not that Pete. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think you would agree your 2.5-year-old, not the smartest blade in the drawer. Right? Is that what I'm saying?
He's simple.
Blade in the drawer.
Sharpest tool in the shed.
Sharpest tool in the shed.
Yeah, he's not the dullest crayon in the toolbox.
But he is adorable, of course.
Yes.
Just not bright, but adorable. And apparently loves this segment, this WTF segment.
His new thing right now is to shrug his shoulders and put his hands up. He goes, I don't care. Like, okay, I don't
like
care.
that. I like it. Really, he doesn't want to tell you this, but he doesn't understand.
I thought he really did.
And so he just goes, I don't care, so he doesn't have to mess with it. I want fire truck.
Yeah. Where's my truck?
All right, what do you got on WTF? By the way, if you're one of these people who finds that to be offensive, that we have a segment called WTF, I would say that you offend me with your dirty mind, because we all know it stands for what the fun in games.
That's what was being bleeped out.
So Autumn, the word fun. Mm-hmm. Talk radio audiences don't like fun, so we bleeped that out. All right, go ahead.
There's a new study where farmers top the list of professions having the most sex.
It makes sense.
With their partners.
Oh, okay. All right. Just thank you for putting that. We're not talking about any critters here.
No. I'm a chicken farmer.
Well, I always say farmersonly.com.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. And by the way, how do you prove online that you're a farmer?
You have to put a picture of your corn up there.
Okay. Is that really?
Right.
Can I just?
It's as high as a pig's eye.
Can I just go on there and go, yeah, I'm a farmer and looking for a slightly overweight gal?
They were also... it says 67% of farmers claim to be, quote, incredible in the bedroom compared to 63% of doctors, 43% of architects, and 40% of journalists.
Who would refer to themselves as being incredible in bed?
I don't know.
I think I'm okay. I'd say I'm okay. There's a lot worse people than me.
You've been married for a long time.
I certainly do care. Alan Hunt, thank you. That one will stay off the air.
Yep. Thank you for saying that, Eric.
So, I would. Who's like 63% of doctors claim that they're great in the sack?
Yeah, but farmers are always plowing.
Hey,
here we go. Is this going to be all wordplay? Because I'll move to the next story right now. If this doesn't stop, I'll move right on to the next story. I've never had sex with a farmer.
No?
I know you find
No,
that
I
hard to
haven't
believe.
either.
Yeah, so I can't tell you. I can't.
Have you had sex with an architect?
Me?
Yes.
I had sex in a high building once. Does that count? That was put together by an architect.
Let me search the article and see if it counts.
No, I've never had sex with an architect.
So they're saying that
basically I've only had sex with waitresses, bank tellers,
and
radio personalities.
Okay.
I'd say that covers it all.
They also talked about
my wife,
lawyers,
by the way, was a waitress when I met her. Yes.
Lawyers being the hardest to please in the bedroom, saying that 27% of them fake orgasms.
They're always
every
objecting.
time they have sex.
That's because they object.
But they're sustainable.
Hey!
Overruled.
I'd like to see you in my chambers.
All right, now you guys are just crashing into each other with wordplay. This can't be good.
Order.
Just order. I'd like to guardvere. What is that legal term, guardvere?
You're out there on your own
I don't
now.
know. I don't know anything.
You know
about
that the
law.
host of the show hates wordplay. Do you
know.
have to go out there and just really, really crash everything?
Sue me.
I'm keeping it on farmers and sex.
Sue me.
Let's bring this back into the pen. This segment's gotten out of the pen.
I'm keeping it right where I know my audience wants it. Farmers and sex. Those
Exhibit
are two
A.
words. You know, Clive Cliverson told me. He said, farmer sex sells.
Oh, God, it's a top trending thing right now on whatever.
So the only thing that I can think about a reason why this may be is because one is tends to be a more physical job.
Yeah.
And one is sitting and being in front of a computer. There's not a lot of physical manifestations of what you've done in the day. So maybe as humans, we need to have tangible results of our work.
I know. I'll tell you what it is you're closer to nature when you're a farmer.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. No, you really are.
That's why you always have sex when you're camping?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And motel rooms for some reason.
Wait, but a farmer can also sit behind.
You ever walk into a motel room with your spouse and you're like, I don't know what it is. We can't leave here without. There's something about a motel room or a hotel room that just demands sex.
You claim it. It's yours now.
We kicked my kids out.
Even when you're alone.
I can't believe that you would suggest that farmers wouldn't be on their computer. A lot of times their equipment is all machine driven.
No, I'm saying
they just get on their computer and they run the machinery.
I didn't say that. What I said was, how do you prove that you're a farmer if you're on farmersonly.com? Do you have to have and I would love to go through things that things that I like. My tractor, a good harvest. Oh, this person's just like me. Silo.
Ooh, how big's your silo?
In order to enter the site, you have to put your zip code in, which could be that could be it right there.
So if I put in, but let's say I put in
Roswell.
What if I have a P.O. box?
There's all kinds of farmland. P.O. box.
I have a P.O. box at the post office in town.
I go into town.
Once a month.
Get my mail. Well, that's great. Farmers, it's tough for farmers. Sometimes you get a bad crop, you get a year, everything gets, you might as well, I'm glad they're having fun otherwise. That sex is the great equalizer. I'll tell you this. Sex is the great equalizer because you could see somebody who is super famous and super rich and all of that, and maybe they're terrible in bed or can't figure it out. And then just a regular dude who's a carpenter or a plumber or something like that. They could be having a better life than the richest dude in the world because there was somebody they really dig and they got a great sex life going on. Would you say that a sex life?
He knows about it.
How much of a happy life do you think good sex life is a part of a happy life?
Probably
I think it's a lot.
Large.
I think it's a lot.
Because there are things that happen in the bedroom that may translate to outside the bedroom.
Yeah, but then you got to call in the maids.
No, you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. I think that they they'll always say surprisingly, husbands and wives, they argue about finances more than about sex. And what I would say is, if they're arguing about finances, there's something wrong with the sex. One leads to the other. Like you argue less about everything if you're really getting along in the bedroom. This is my theory. This is my theory.
Okay.
My wife and I are arguing a lot lately. All right, go ahead. What's your next story?
If in the bedroom or out of the bedroom?
We just argue everywhere.
Is that part of your foreplay?
That is argue, yeah. Oh, wow, that's exciting. How can it be exciting? It's the same thing we do every night. We argue.
Then we make up.
Oh, nothing like making up.
Oh, yeah. All right, next story.
Oh, I keep looking at Jared like he's supposed to give me the next story. And then he looks back at me like with this dull face like, no.
Hey! He's like, what?
I'm trying to sign up for farmersonly.com now.
It's got that weird face that's half Chattanooga, half Kyoto.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
City folks just don't get it.
City folks just don't get it. Don't get what? Yeah, city folks can't figure out how to have sex. Farmers, on the other hand.
Oh, we see it all day long.
That's right.
I'm experienced with rutting.
Yeah, come on, Bessie.
All right, now what do you got next for me?
All right, Henry Winkler revealed on Watch
Hold
What.
on. Hold on. You can't just say Henry Winkler.
Everyone knows who Henry Winkler is.
Jared, who is Henry Winkler?
He's an actor.
Okay.
From what?
From Waterboy.
What
Barry.
What is Henry Winkler's? What is
He's
Henry
Fonzie.
Winkler?
I'm just teasing. I know the Waterboy.
Does he have a Wikipedia thing up? Is he
No,
looking?
I'm looking at my audio.
He's an American actor, writer, and director.
All right. So what's the deal with Fonzie?
Yeah, Henry Winkler, Henry the Fonz Winkler.
Yeah.
Revealed on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen that he has been feuding with Tom Hanks since 1989.
Yeah, somebody asked the question. Do you have the audio? Somebody asked the question about.
It's Deborah from Tallulah.
Turner and Hooch.
So it must be something some people know, and I had no idea about this. But then the question was asked and then answered.
The real reason why.
There's a caller calling to the show, by the way.
The real reason why you and Tom Hanks didn't get along on the set of Turner and Hooch. And did you ever wind up seeing that movie?
Is that a thing? What did you say? I was directing that movie for 13 days. No! And then I was called into Jeff Katzenberg's office, and he said, "Do you have everything with you? Go home." No! I got along great with that dog. Love that dog.
Wow, I can't imagine anybody feuding with Tom Hanks. He's America's next door neighbor. He's America's
really
dad.
He's your favorite uncle.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Who's goofy and sneaks you candy when your mom says.
You know what? At the time that Fonzie was coming to the end of his reign, Tom Hanks was rising on Bosom Buddies.
In fact, they fought on an episode of Tom was a guest on Happy Days.
Oh, was he?
Was
Henry.
a guy that Fonzie had bullied when he was younger, and he showed up to fight Fonzie, but they talked it out.
Yeah, and I guess you two probably didn't like each other right from that very time,
well,
right?
At first it was method, and I think that Tom Hanks took it a little too far. So I got in a fight with Arnold.
How do the two nicest people in Hollywood, at least by reputation, end up hating each other?
Maybe that's the thing. They're both nice, and there's only room for one, nice guy in Hollywood.
I'm Mr. Nice Guy in show business.
Mr. Nice Guy.
Who's this Johnny-come-lately nice guy in show business? I love the dog.
Irreverent.
Entertaining.
Gut-busting. Very funny. And doesn't toe any party line.
I think it's a great show.
The Von Haessler Doctrine on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
All right, we're done with WTF, Autumn. Sorry, it's an audible. It's an audible because it looks like all hands on deck. We may have lost a listener. All right, what's the deal here?
Kirk wrote on the Von Haessler Doctrine Facebook page, and he said...
Not Mellish.
No, not Mellish.
Okay, you guys are terrible.
This is Kirk C. He says, I listen to your show almost every day while working.
Yeah.
Pretty disappointed to hear you say negative things towards the non-driving cyclist community this morning around 10:18 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
To hear someone say, let alone a radio personality as big as yourself, that if you are driving and see a non-driver... I expressed my discontent by using the middle finger to change the radio station. And yes, that was my middle finger, all caps and exclamation point, and that I pushed the button with.
Oh, okay. Well, at least we've solved that mystery, because I was wondering, whose middle finger was that? Okay, now we know. It was
I
Kurt
killed
C.
a drifter and took his middle finger, and I changed the station.
So I just think it's hilarious. But the guy probably loves it when we make jokes about Trump.
Probably.
That's the way it is. Everybody loves every joke about, and then all of a sudden, one joke about me and my community? Oh, that's it. I'm sorry.
Look, I like bike riders too, Eric. I can't tune in anymore.
Wait, I'm losing too.
I love bicyclists. Get out of What are you going to do about it?
Can I say, people have a sense of humor. There's no such thing as the cyclist community. There's just people riding bikes. And that's okay.
Bicycle, bicycle, Bicycle. I want to ride my
Hour 3 of the Von Haessler Doctrine begins now. And let me say this. I am never in my life going to apologize to cyclist or anyone. I've heard, there's a lot of like cyclists, the community. They get radio people to apologize to them all the time. Let me tell you what's never going to happen. Eric Von Haessler is never going to apologize to cyclists. First of all, I don't have a problem with cyclists necessarily, unless you're going 10 miles per hour and I'm in a vehicle that can top out at 120 and you're forcing me to do 8 miles an hour. Now, I'm going to get a little hot under the collar, but I'm not going to say anything because I'm a peaceful man. But the idea that you're not allowed to criticize cyclists, what did they do? Did they have somebody local who was just like this enforcer who made everybody grovel to the cyclist? I have nothing against cyclists, but I will never apologize to the cyclist community. Now, I will apologize to the pansexuals. I've never had sex with a pan, but who am I to judge? Let's do this.
Even more headlines for Wednesday, October 9th.
All right, this is some heavy-duty stuff going on here now, right?
Yes, Sabrina's been carrying this as breaking news in the WSB News Center. Turkey launched a planned military operation in northeastern Syria earlier this morning aimed at flushing out the Syrian militia that was backed by the United States, the Kurds.
Well, no, you can't say Syrian. You got to say Kurds. The Kurds.
The Kurds.
Basically, the people who helped us. The president had a conversation on the phone. As far as I'm concerned, the most controversial conversation on the phone with a foreign leader, not the other one that's got everybody going, where he basically just said, we're giving you the green light.
We don't need him.
Is that what you said to him?
I said, we don't need him. You do what you need to do. Do as you will.
Yeah. You say, we're done with them.
We're done with the Kurds.
Let me just say this. We hung the Kurds out to dry. They got slaughtered after the first Bush-Iraq war, Persian Gulf War. And they came back and they helped us again in this situation. I'm not an expert on Turkey politics. I don't read everything going on in Ankara on a daily basis. But what I do know is that it's not a good idea on the world stage if people give you their own blood in your fight. This is shameful. This is shameful from our point of view. I'm ashamed of us. I'm not for endless wars. There's nothing wrong with getting us out of Syria. But you don't just wake up and decide, okay, that's enough, write a tweet, make a phone call, and decide to deliver the people who helped you get rid of ISIS and just deliver them into the hands of the people who want to slaughter them. It's also not smart. Important for people to, again, hear this stat. 11,000 Kurdish fighters died helping us beat back ISIS. 11,000. Every one of them looked out of their skulls at the world just like you and me. Every one of them had brothers, sisters, family members who are lost now. 11,000 put their lives on the line and lost their lives with us beating back ISIS in the last few years. And we just throw them to the wolves? It's also not smart for our policy because who is in charge right now of all the ISIS fighters in encampments that Europe and the United States and no one else wants back? The Kurds. There's only so many of them. They're a small fighting force on the world stage. They don't have enough people to properly make sure that the ISIS prisoners stay in prison and fight a big country like Turkey. Compared to them, a big country, a big military. This is shameful. I mean, it really is. What kind of country are we turning into? And if you're just tuning in, oh, you like them endless wars? No, I do not. I said yesterday, the proper way to handle this would have been for Trump to come out this week and say, you remember how I ran saying I'm going to get us out of these endless wars? Well, guess what? I was kind of presidential on this. I didn't tweet anything about this for the last 2 years, but behind the scenes, I figured out that you can do things behind the scenes. I figured out that I don't have to let everyone in the world know every single thought in my head unfiltered. It turns out that I could govern by having something going on behind the scenes. Proper governance to get you out of this endless war, or so-called endless war, would have been to pop up this week and say, for the last 2 years, you didn't know it, but behind the scenes and off social media, and not one word of it on one 24-hour news network, I don't know how I did it, we worked out a deal. And this is what's going to happen. We're going to leave, the Kurds are going to be protected, and Turkey is going to be protected as well from what they fear. It took a lot of hard work, American people. As your president, I want you to know that this was a lot harder than 140 characters or a thread. It turned out it was a lot harder, but we did it anyway. And this solution isn't going to come back to haunt us. Unlike the way that I woke up last Tuesday, said, I'm tired of being in Syria, gave a call to the Turkish president, said, hey, you're a thug, you go get him. That little joke that we did, that's exactly what happened. Your president called the thug, who is the president of Turkey, and said, we don't need him anymore. They lost 11,000 lives helping us beat back ISIS. We don't need him anymore. He might as well have said, go slaughter him. So that's what's going to happen. And who knows how many of these ISIS fighters that are being detained and being detained properly by Kurdish fighters are going to end up back in Europe. You're just going to sit there and wait patiently to see who wins and comes back? Hey, we might have a new jailer. I'll have to wait and see if it's going to be Kurdish or Turkish. I'll just sit right here.
Our friends over at ABC News sent their foreign correspondent Ian Pennell into the situation. He was highlighting what you just said.
This is what many people feared. Without the Americans acting as a counterbalance there, that ISIS would capitalize on the insecurity, launch attacks in places like Raqqa, and potentially thousands of ISIS fighters now being protected by the Kurds in prisons in Syria would try to escape.
Like 8 months or a year, I can't wait from my Republican friends who tore into Obama for the way he left Iraq. And then ISIS popped up. When it's ISIS or something else, it's all the same thing, different names. I can't wait to hear the rationalization from my Republican friends as to why Obama's still wrong the way he did it. But hey, Trump warned him, right? He tweeted about it a few days ago.
Mm-hmm.
They had fair warning to get the hell out of there, right?
Hey, find another place to live.
I don't know. I'm getting angry about this. I'm ashamed. As an American, I'm ashamed. It's shameful. There's no doubt about that. If you're listening to me and you like the policy, good on you. I'm glad you got what you want. I'm glad you're okay with us getting 11,000 human lives to help us fight our fight and then turning them right over to the... it's astounding. It's the second time we've done it to these people. Go. I know history seems so long, but you got that Google machine. Put in the Kurds after the first Gulf War. Slaughtered. The first President Bush just left them out there. And I mean out there. I mean on the march. I mean in the middle of the desert. I mean easily knocked out. If they're bombing by air, that means we've pulled from the airspace. That's a green light. But hey, you know what, America? The Bachelor cut his face open. So let's have our priorities and the things that we worry about.
Pilot Pete did what?
Yeah. And we don't know what's going to happen on The Bachelor. And, oh my God, I'm looking here. There's new bullying legislation that's being thought of. And let's concentrate on the important things. It's not important. My words are pearls before swine. Because nobody gives a damn. Just hang them out to dry. Hey, they're over there. We're over here. I'm going to the mall. Hang them out to dry. Hong Kong, who cares? They were free. Maybe I guess they're going to be taken over by a bunch of communists, but that's over there. I'm going to go see the Joker. My life is good. Yeah, if you can do it on your own, stop asking Kurds to fight and die in your name. Oh, wait a minute. Your favorite right-wing or left-wing blog or your favorite right or left-wing 24-hour news network never really told you the damn story, did they? How many long 24-hour news? That's a full day. That's a lot of time to fill up. How many good, long, insightful stories about the Kurds have you seen? They got the bullying legislation in Illinois. Haessler cut his face open.
I'll answer your question real quick, by the way. I've watched several of them on Al Jazeera.
Yeah.
And they are brave people who have men and women fighting in combat roles. They work their asses off.
They're great fighters.
Yeah.
You think, Trump can say, unlike Obama, I took care of ISIS. And you know what? On emphasis, that's true. Obama wanted to pretend it wasn't happening and wasn't really, the rules of warfare and engagement and everything were working against us. I give Trump all of that. But you can't say that the best fighters on the ground who are on our side didn't have a whole hell of a lot to do with the fact that we were able to push this back within a year and a half of Trump becoming president. I get upset about things like this because I was born in a country called America. Had certain values, certain morals, and, But hey, you know what? I hear there's a new version of Fortnite coming out. You guys concentrate on the things that are important and just hang a people out to dry. It's really shameful. I don't care who the president was, I'd be saying this. I don't care. I'm not invested. I haven't put a dime into anybody's political coffers. I haven't canvassed for anybody. I'm a libertarian. I always lose. I'm used to it. Kind of gives me an out. I can do my civic duty and vote and then make fun of everybody. You don't have to bring up the fact that I'm a Bills fan, Alan Hunt. You're just trying to hurt me. I'm just going to end it there because I know that the response is always going to be, so you want to stay there forever. No, what I want is for you to get a pair of ears and actually understand what the host of this radio show is saying to you. Every once in a while, before you turn on the radio, put your preconceived notions in a jar for a couple hours. But I know what I'll be dealing with. Oh, yeah. Oh, WSB certainly has gone liberal enough. No, Eric, I love him. I love him. Whatever he does, I'm in favor for. Look, he got me bad grammar. That's the other outrage about this. You see, Jared just came to me and said, but the New York Times says that these Kurdish fighters have been deemed terrorists. Yes, they're deemed terrorists by Turkey. And there's something called PKK. Is that what it is? That's the Kurdish terrorist group that's inside of Turkey. These
Kurdish Workers' Party.
These Kurds have, the fighters have always maintained they're not affiliated. Turkey says, yes, you are affiliated. And I don't know the local situation. That may actually be true. I know the Kurds want their own homeland. They've wanted it for a long time. And the PKK thinks part of it ought to be inside of Turkey. I understand all this. All that being said, we knew all of that before we decided to fight alongside these Kurdish fighters. It's like when you buy a company, you buy up all the contracts inside the company, right? When we decided to fight next to these guys, we bought up and took over all of the controversies and things that have been going on. And by the way, more of an alliance with us may have meant less terrorism for Turkey. So Trump's tweet is, fighting between various groups that has been going on for hundreds of years. USA should never have been in Middle East. Moved our soldiers out. Turkey must take over captured ISIS fighters that Europe refused to have returned. The stupid endless wars for us are ending. Oh, and there should be another tweet. By the way, 11,000 of them gave their lives so that we could push back ISIS. That's a little thing he left out of his tweet. I guess the rant is over. I just do want to point out, if we keep doing this to people who fight with us, I don't know how in the future, maybe the future is beautiful and peaceful and we don't need people to fight with us and everything's fine. If I could blink my eyes and that's the world that we would have, I'd do it in a second. Doesn't seem to work that way. When we left Vietnam, the fall of Saigon, Now, you could say we never should have been in Vietnam, and I'd agree with you, but we were there. And how you leave is important. Somewhere between 200 and 300,000 people from South Vietnam put into re-education camps, most of them tortured, starved, the whole deal, because we decided we're done with this. And now after 11,000 Kurds give their lives helping us push back ISIS, we give Turkey the green light. All right, maybe we live in a new peaceful world where we'll never need allies to ever help us again. If that's the case, this won't be much. But you come to me in 10 years halfway across the world and tell me I should help you and we'll fight together, I'm going to point to the 300,000 people put in re-education camps when you left Nam. And what's starting today with Turkey? Turkey's going to slaughter these Kurds. It's going to be no contest. I mean, they can go underground and they can create, sort of an insurgency and all that. I would imagine in the meantime, somebody's going to lose track of all these ISIS prisoners, or at least a good portion of them, or at least some of them. And they're going to end up back in whatever Middle Eastern country they came from, or Europe. Maybe here. Just like I say, I agree. Maybe we should have been in Vietnam, but we were. And how you get out is important. And that you protect the people who helped you is important. Maybe we should never have been in Syria. Maybe we should have never been in the Middle East. You can take this all the way back to the 1940s if you want to. But we are. And so how you conduct yourself, you're going to be judged on that. I know there are so many people listening to me. I'm like, no, it's, I love this president and whatever he says and whatever he does, and that's why he can do anything he wants. Because if your most fervent supporters won't hold your feet to the fire, that means it's a green light for everything. You know what we need in this country over the next 10 or 12 years? A Republican Party. Be good to get that back, wouldn't it? An actual Republican Party. And when you asked people what that meant, they would rattle off 2 or 3 policy ideas. That's why I'm a Republican, because I believe in this. I believe in X, Y, low taxation, smaller state, less regulation, freedom, capitalism. Like if you ask people, why are you a Republican? They could rattle off policy ideas.
Liberty, too.
Liberty, as opposed to this sort of cult of personality. Why are you a Republican? Because I love Trump. Well, that's a license. That's a personality you're in love with. That's not a member of a party. Parties stand for things and then try to figure out how to win elections based on those policy prescriptions. That's what a party is. Just loving the top person in the party and being damn suspicious of anyone else in that party. That's a thing. That's legitimate. But that's not a party. That's a cult of personality. I like that guy. Plenty of cults of personality with Sanders and Warren, none with Biden. That's just, I think he might win. Mayor Pete. Nobody knows. Nobody has even looked in to see if he's a good mayor. It's cult of personality. Wow, this he's smart. He's articulate. He'd be the first gay president. I like him. Well, Trump, he finally stood up to the elites, the global elites. I like him. The Republican Party could be made up of people who stand up to global elites. A political party is like a house party. It's only as good as the people who show up. That's my hope over the next few years, is that we actually get a Republican Party. And actually, while I'm at it, a Democrat Party as well. Because it's all cult of personality over there, too. AOC. I like her. Well, she's young, and I'm young, so I consider her articulate, because I think if you say like every 7th word, that still seems articulate to me. But I like her. I like him. Yeah, anybody got any policy idea? Whatever she says.
I like sir.
Excuse me, I like them.
Yeah, I like them there, sir. What is it about AOC's policies you like? Anything she says, I like her. What is it about Trump's policies you like? Anything he says, I like him. It's a dangerous path to go down. Well, these are going to be our elections. Two crowds, each in favor of their own particular personality, go at it. And then once they win, whoever wins, whatever, executive orders, however you do it, I don't care. I just like you. And for that reason, a lot of people listening to me right now will just go, yeah, I don't like endless wars either. This is fine. And then they're going to go get a cup of coffee because they don't want to stick around for me to ask the next question. Do you think it's okay to abandon a fighting force that gave up 11,000 lives to help this country and themselves push back ISIS? If we have any friends in that area, you think it's Turkey, who's still in NATO? I don't even know why. They're buying military stuff from Russia. Turkey is not our friend. Turkey used to be, not the kind of democracy that we would recognize, but in that area, secular democracy. This guy wears a suit, but it ain't so secular anymore. And he's a goon.
He's changed their constitution to remove a lot of that stuff.
Absolutely. Turkey was built as a secular state. And it's being changed now. And why the hell do we still have them in NATO? You really think they're going to come help us if we have to do something in NATO forces? No, they're not. Why are they in? And you could say, just like I just said about Vietnam, we never should have been there, but we were. And how you act when you're there matters, and how you leave matters. So, America, you better hope you never need any group's help again. Because we screwed over the South Vietnamese, just left them holding the bag in a war that I agree. Ultimately, I respect everybody who was there, and I respect all the lives that we lost. But as a policy matter, if you went back to the late 50s, I would be saying, I think we can do this differently. I think that's been proven. But still, at the end of the day, you left 200,000 to 300,000 people to become the victims, people who fought next to you, to become the victims of the people that you were fighting. Then George H.W. Bush gets help from the Kurds in the first Persian Gulf War and leaves them to be slaughtered. And now, again, maybe dumb on their part, partner up again, put 11,000 lives out there, and we're tired of it. We don't like the endless wars. We're out of here. But Eric, I don't dig that deep. I like him. Great, America. That's fantastic. I started today's show in such a good mood. I need some help here. I'm so angry about us leaving the Kurds hanging out to dry. You know what I need? I need a little snacky.
Yay!
Snacky! Snacky brings us those snackable content stories.
Yes, I do.
They make us feel good at the end of the news, right? We had all that murder and mayhem, and then Snacky comes in and shows us some footage of a squirrel on water skis, and we all go happy. So let's forget about the fact that we're throwing our allies to the wolves over there in Syria.
You need some cheering up, Eric.
I do, Snacky. Give me some snackable content stories.
Did you hear about this? A broken watch leads a woman to nearly $50,000 in a lottery jackpot.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Did you hear about this one?
Hold on, I can't hear you. What? I can't hear you, Snacky.
Oh, this is great music. Hey, a loose horse goes for a late night run around a suburb.
It did. What was it doing?
Oh my goodness! These stories make me forget how we've left these Kurdish fighters. We've dangled them out and allowed them to be slaughtered.
Oh, don't worry about that. There's a mystery elk on the loose in East Texas.
A mystery elk?
Wow, what a magical elk.
Hey, Snacky, why are your eyeballs so big?
It's dark in
your,
here.
Your pupils are gigantic.
Very dark.
We do not ask why Snacky stays so happy. We just accept the happiness.
Snacky,
Here's
you
a
make
cute
me
one.
feel so good.
Are you going to give me another happy kicker story?
One more.
Okay.
Did you hear about this? In South Australia, a confused baby koala took a ride on a dog's back.
That's very different because that doesn't usually happen, and that's adorable.
I wish I could have seen it.
Oh, you know what? I'm feeling a lot better, Snacky.
You feel better?
I feel better about the world that I live in. I've forgotten that the country is polarized and split down the middle. Give him the bag. Hey, you know what? On a day like this,
Snacky, you need some water, buddy. You look, you're sweating.
Hey, Snacky,
I love you, Eric.
I love you too.
I love you so much.
But Jared is correct.
I just need a hug. Can I give you a hug? How about a hug?
You do need to hydrate.
Oh, it's so warm
You're
in here.
sweating all over the place.
It is so hot and dark in here.
Hey, whenever I'm getting angry about what we've done to the Kurdish fighters, I just think about my friend Snacky. You got one more for me?
Sure. A wheel dropped by a helicopter crashed through the roof of an Illinois home. Everyone's safe.
Oh, okay. That makes it goofy. All right, good.
That was scary because I thought it was going to be bad news.
But you knew Snacky wouldn't do that to you.
Never. He wouldn't do that to us, Snacky.
I've already forgotten about all the tension and the strife in the world, the murder, the mayhem, the two-timing horrors.
How about a Colorado?
I'm sorry, what?
How about a Colorado father and son made their own Lamborghini with a 3D printer?
Isn't that something?
Look at that.
Look at that.
What a bonding moment that must have been for them.
Oh, it's fantastic. Snacky, I really thank you very much. And I don't care what's in that bag of yours. I call it the happy
You
bag.
want some?
No, it's all right.
Tastes like earwax.
You're my happy juice. Whatever happy juice you have, that's your fuel.
I got a lot of happy juice.
You're my fuel.
He's always happy.
Bye-bye.
Fuel up, Jared.
Bye-bye, Snacky.
Bye.
Thank you.
Drink that water, Snacky.
All right, now we must get to the bottom of, I mentioned earlier. That was sudden. I didn't mean that.
Snacky's done.
Yeah, no. Bye-bye, Snacky.
Aw.
How about that? There you go.
Much better.
I feel better.
Before we go, we only have a couple of minutes here on the radio side. I want to know what happened to the new Bachelor. Snacky's got me off the Kurds and the impeachment inquiry.
Are you talking about Pilot Pete?
Pilot Pete is the new Bachelor.
Yeah,
but they haven't even gotten to the part where the ladies show up so that he can greet them. And what happened?
They were going to begin filming, but he was out on the golf course in Costa Rica, and he was carrying some cocktails, Eric, and tripped and fell and ended up having to get over 20 stitches in his face.
He cut his face open. And the ladies haven't even arrived. What are they going to do with this season? Wouldn't it be funny if they all arrived and they're like, yeah, you know what? You can have him. I didn't sign up for Frankenstein's monster. I
have a question. Is the show never not on?
Yeah, well, what they have is this is my understanding. I've never seen any. There's The Bachelor.
Okay.
And that goes away. And then there's The Bachelorette. And when that goes away, there's something else
Bachelor in Paradise.
Bachelor in Paradise. Is there a Bachelorette in Paradise? Just Bachelor in Paradise.
Just Bachelor.
That's wrong. Okay, so you have The Bachelor. And when that ends, and somebody from that group of girls becomes the Bachelorette.
Correct.
And then
usually
somebody
the second
from
or
that,
third place one.
Then there's some group of the guys in that one becomes the Bachelor. This guy was part of the Bachelorette.
He was the windmill guy. He got third place. Pilot Pete.
Dumber than a box of rocks. Good looking fella though.
Can't land a plane either.
Yeah, he was. Jared was on a plane he was flying, and he said it was the worst landing he ever had.
Ever.
But he's handsome.
Oh, extremely handsome.
Not anymore, apparently. I saw 3 headlines. All 3 used the term "cut his face open." You don't see that. You don't see that in headlines very often. So if it turns out that he's all stitched up like Frankenstein's monster, I may actually watch an episode or two because I know that young people today know they have to act like things don't bother them about appearance, even though they're just like everybody else who's ever been born. And I'll be interested to watch that struggle happen with the ladies. Yeah.
So nice to meet you.
Hey,
sorry.
Hey, you want to make out? Hey, guess what? We're not done here. We always go do the podcast 30. We're going to come back and do a special show from 3 to 4 this afternoon. The Von Haessler Doctrine gets you in to SunTrust Park. We'll have traffic every 6 minutes, get you in the stadium or get you around the traffic if you need that. And then, of course, it's just us. It's the Von Haessler Doctrine. It's an extra hour of the Von Haessler Doctrine. It's like just getting, it's like an hour of snacky. No one expected it. It's just going to be a lot of fun. We're going to go do the podcast 30. How do people join us?
There's multiple ways they can do it, Eric. They can go to
just two.
Okay, I'll give you two. They can go to the Von Haessler Doctrine Facebook page or the WSB Radio Facebook page. Click the little red box, and you can see Snacky and all of us sit here in the studio and enjoy the podcast 30.
All right, we're going to come back and do this tomorrow, no matter the outcome of the game. No one calls in sick based on what happened. Win or lose, because that's both a possibility. This one will drink until 4 in the morning. Thanks for listening to the Von Haessler Doctrine podcast. Remember, you can hear the show every weekday from 9 to noon right here on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Like current events and want to be the smartest among your friends? Then the Power Pod is the show for you.
The Power Pod is a weekly recap show where we cover the current events of the week.
It's a show where we're not afraid to get serious.
And we're not afraid to have some fun.
So try us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, the WSB Radio app, WSBRadio.com, Stitcher, CastBox. Okay. Anywhere there are podcasts, we are there. So power up with the Power Pod.
Snacky's tripping on this music.
I just saw him in the bathroom. He's done.
Well, eventually he's got a nap.
He truly vomits rainbows.
Yeah, it's all over the floor.
Hi, I'm Eric Von Haessler. I'm your host for this podcast 30. Hey, Alex Williams.
That's good.
Tim Andrews. He's here.
Yep.
J-Rad is rocking the tunes.
Some Odessa. Good luck for tonight for the Braves.
I like this.
Oh, Autumn Fisher.
Yo.
Yo, yo, yo.
What's up?
She will not be appearing with us at 3 o'clock because she has an appearance with her children to bake a cake.
It's true.
And, hey, nobody says you have to understand Siri. You listen and you help or you shut up. Those are your choices, Siri.
Was it a man's voice?
Why are you asking?
It sounded like a man's voice.
No, it was
in the
Siri.
background.
It was Siri. It was
okay.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. If she doesn't shut up, I'm going to knock her around. Now I know that's not very popular.
She likes it.
It turns out Siri
You're going
likes
to hit me.
Do you know what?
I don't understand you.
It's okay, officer. He loves me.
No, I was making it sexual. Like I want to.
Oh, I know.
Her safe
Maybe
word.
you could shove something in my.
Hey!
port so
Whoa!
Port. I said port.
Delete me.
Her safe word is hey, so it's kind of weird because
Hey.
anytime I talk to her, she stops having fun.
Hey.
She
does when she says hey. It is like hey.
I always
Hey.
when for some reason the Siri in my are they called HomePods, the speakers that I have?
Yeah.
Siri in my speakers
Mm-hmm.
is a guy, and Siri on my phone is a lady.
You can change that.
How am I going to change it in my speakers?
I'm sure that it connects to an app on your phone, right? Your
Yeah,
home-
kind of.
Yeah, you just go in the app.
It's not the most developed app. The Home app by Apple, not the most developed thing.
I'm sure you can change Siri, though. Siri's, they've got so many voices now for Siri.
I want that Australian Peter Moylan voice for Siri. Huh? Hey, Siri.
Hey there.
Hey, Siri. Play Abbey Road.
I'm sorry, you're driving. I can't do it.
Oh. Peter Moylan, so mean. Oh, you think Peter Moylan, you're saying he's going to be at the stadium just kind of...
Me ain't doing rain.
Milling about.
The audience.
Now, does he go there with other ex-Braves, or do you think he's just by himself?
I'm
just
sure he
hanging
was
out?
there. I know with the game that I went to last Thursday, they kept showing shots of Braves in the crowd. So we
Okay.
had Kelly Johnson was there. He dabbled in TV for a little while. Chipper Jones obviously was there.
Caught the foul ball, which I thought, okay, that's a sign that we're going to win this game. And I
We
was
should have won game 1. But should have probably lost game 3. So I guess it all evens out at the end.
But Peter Moylan is the nicest guy in the world, so if you run into him, he'd like talk your ear off.
I didn't even tell you guys about this. You know who else was out there that nobody noticed? We were out in
Evander
Kenny
Holyfield.
Kenny Loggins.
Evander Loggins. Kenny Holyfield.
We were
Go Braves.
Go Braves. We were out in the Battery after the game last Thursday, and Joseph Martinez, the star
Really?
Atlanta United star player, he was out walking around.
Nobody knew who he was,
and
but you did.
but you could tell that he was trying to scurry quickly before people noticed him. And I'm like, and Christina and I are like, that's Joseph Martinez just
Did you
walking
go
right
bother
by
him?
We thought about it, but then he was walking very quickly wherever
he
he was
had
going.
that. I'd have my headphones on if I could.
Yes,
like
kind of head down
Yeah.
like that. But
I'm
nobody.
going somewhere. I'm going somewhere.
Relative, I mean,
That's a
I was
dumb
surprised
thing.
people didn't really know him.
You know, what I would say to people who are celebrities, every job has its downside. You could be a plumber who loves your work, but the paperwork, right?
That's why you hire or you get married. Have your wife do all that.
No, you got to do it. You got to take care of it. Every job has its downside. So as a celebrity, sometimes people bother you when you don't want to be bothered. That's the downside. I don't know why celebrities think that their job isn't supposed to have a downside. Every job has a downside, even this one.
Tom Hanks at an airport once, years and years ago. Somebody went up to him, saw this. Hey, would you sign this? A little kid. He turns, looks down, and goes, I don't do that.
I just think that's wrong.
To a kid.
Yeah, I just think that's wrong. Because you're Tom Hanks, and the downside is, now, if you don't want to deal with that, then just, buy a jet or something or rent one whenever you need to fly and, just don't mingle with people. But if you're famous and you're mingling with people are going to ask you these days for a selfie, in the old days an autograph. And it's maybe a pain in the ass, but every job has its downside. So I would say that to Martinez. And he needs to be spreading the word about Atlanta United.
I think he'd be happy if somebody recognized him.
I think that, we were right by
He makes a lot of money in soccer players. He's a star soccer player.
He's a stud. He's probably the best current athlete in Atlanta now, just because he's won the championship and had
Why
the most
isn't he in the
goals.
Premier League?
He would get picked up by the Premier League. So the way that the
We have him
MLS
locked
works,
down on contract?
we have him locked down. So the way the Premier League works, or the way
So now he's mad.
the way any soccer
He
contract
could
works.
be next to Ronaldo, and we're not letting him do it.
Well, not necessarily. They would have to
Is that
pay.
the Premier League? I don't know.
They would have to pay out the butt in order to get him
Out the butt?
Out the butt.
What the hell is the matter with you?
You gotta pay out my
I wanted to
butt.
say it's expensive to
I
get.
put money in my butt. I gotta pay out of
There
it.
you go.
You need change?
Hey, you need change? All right. Yeah. I'm sorry, sir. It's $1.50. Sorry about that. There you go. Noises are so funny.
He's not as tall as I expected to. I expected him to be much taller, but he's a stud.
Well, it just goes to show that you're always sitting in the really high seats in the Mercedes-Benz.
I
so
guess.
he seemed really, really small when running around on the field.
Yes, definitely.
So how tall? You thought he was taller, though, right?
I expected him to be taller. He's probably 5'10", 5'9".
That's taller than Kyler Murray.
Yeah. Put him in to play quarterback. see how he does.
Hey, we're not going to have one of those teams in the XFL, are we? We got the bad league. We got the crappy league.
No, Atlanta will not have an XFL team. Not yet, at least.
Or ever.
Well, I don't know. You could. If it's a successful league, they'll
He's going to
expand.
be a little different this time. It'll be more like regular football and less WWE.
Oh, no. Yeah, I think they're going to do a real football league. You know who the commissioner of the XFL is?
So who?
Of course.
Yeah,
Autumn. Who is
Autumn
it?
will tell you.
Yeah. We all know who it is.
Yeah.
Right.
Andrew Luck's dad.
Yeah, Andrew Luck's dad.
So if it starts to work over a couple of years and he's free from contract from the Colts, you got to wonder if Andrew Luck, when he's feeling healthy, decides to bring some star power.
I hope Colin Kaepernick finds a job. I mean, here's a guy that's such a great
starting
quarterback.
He deserves it.
Yeah.
He really does.
I really think so.
He really does. Even though he hasn't played for 3 years and he was a backup.
Yeah.
And he left $10 million on the table when he quit his job. Nobody puts that in.
Well, he
When
quit because
his
he
job.
was oppressed.
Yeah,
and
okay,
they
that's
pushed him out.
What more liberal city than San Francisco is he going to find to be the quarterback of?
Portland. Thank you very much.
They don't have a team.
Oh.
Yeah, dummy. I don't ever want to live in Portland. Everybody smells like weed.
Maybe Detroit, but they have a quarterback.
Yeah, they got Matt Stafford. That guy never win nothing.
Hey, well, what if we give you a job, but in the contract it says that your girlfriend Nessa cannot tweet about how we're all slave plantation owners?
I'd be down with that, but... What? No.
Every time we disagree with you, is your girlfriend going to go on Twitter and tell people that we're just like 1800s slave-owning plantation guys?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why you're
Do the
still
right
not
thing,
playing.
even if it's dumb.
I like that. Is that your new bumper sticker?
Yeah, I did a promo for it once here.
Do the right thing, even if it's dumb.
Yeah.
You were dabbling. I mean, Nessa's in radio, so you dabbled in radio a little bit too, right?
She's going to let me be her producer.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, so you got a job.
Congrats, man.
Yeah, I got a job. You know what I do every day after a show is I download the audio from the skimmer and cut out the ads and put it out as a podcast.
Same thing Jared does after our show.
You do a great job.
Yeah, and sometimes I even get the unencoded audio and I got to do it again.
Tim Andrews is bitching about something underneath there.
No, I made Shaney B do it. I'm out.
Wait, Colin, you know Shady B?
Yeah, he's my favorite producer of my favorite X-radio show. The Herman Cain Show was all about being an individual and working really hard.
You're a big Herman Cain fan, Colin Kaepernick.
I look up to him because he's a businessman. What? Oh, Nessa says I can't like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a
Nessa
Republican.
says he's...
He likes Trump.
Yeah. You don't like Trump?
Excuse me while I kneel.
Okay. Well, at least now he's saying excuse me.
It's nice.
A little bit of progress, absolutely.
I'm up now. I knelt.
You're up?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's done kneeling.
I haven't watched the South Park about China.
Oh,
Everybody's
I can't
telling
wait.
me to watch
I cannot
it.
wait to watch it.
I haven't.
Wait.
This is Wednesday, so the third one will be tonight. I haven't watched the any of the new Always Sunny.
Oh, they're so funny.
And I heard they're really, of course, they're funny because every single episode's funny.
Yeah, but
this one still has like 2 seasons to get to us now.
I know, but thankfully, our friends over at FX gave us that wonderful gift for Christmas. I'm catching
Has
up.
it run
quick.
out yet?
No, it runs out in December.
Yeah, I forgot about mine. So it was like we were able to have access to the
Unlimited FXX.
Mm-hmm.
But these show up on my YouTube TV after they play.
Oh,
So
I
I can watch
accidentally paid $50 for after the free trial ended.
Doesn't that suck? Oh, I
Yes.
forgot.
Free trial of what?
For YouTube TV. I got it so that Travis could watch some football game that he was having trouble getting access to. And then
Why don't you just keep it? It's a good deal.
It's $50 a month.
I know, but you can have it rather than cable.
I know, but I don't
What does
need
your cable
I don't
cost?
need it. I don't have cable.
You have nothing? Your
No.
cord cutters?
Yeah. Kind of.
No wonder those children are
We're
so
millennial.
miserable.
We're millennial cord cutters where we still use our parents' accounts.
Oh, that's real nice.
Well-
How old are you? How old are you?
What are you talking
about?
English Nick's here. How old are you?
37.
How old's your husband?
Who cares?
How old is your
How old is he?
husband?
I don't know.
60.
How old is your husband?
Is he
72.
No, he's a little younger.
33?
She's,
34?
Yeah, she's
34.
robbing the cradle.
Well, the
34.
gray hair makes him look older.
Don't you think it's about time that you guys paid for your own utilities and paid for
We pay
your own
for everything else.
your cell? What about your cell bill?
Oh, that's us.
And then, so what? You use Netflix and stuff like that? Using
No, we
your
pay.
parents?
We pay for Netflix. I pay for Netflix, Hulu, Prime, Stars, because it has a lot of kids movies, which is weird.
But if you got the right package of one of these
It's
YouTube
little-
or whatever,
yeah.
you would get the whole thing for like literally $40 a month.
For
And that-
Hulu and Netflix and stuff like
No,
that
no,
on
no,
YouTube.
no. YouTube is just like replacing cable,
Mhm.
basically. But you can add little things to it, and the whole thing together would probably be like $60. And the great thing about it, I'm not a spokesperson; they don't know I have them.
Well, right now we're paying. Well, what is it? Who knows? I'm not going to go through line by line. I don't even know. It's one of those things where it's like you add. Yeah, okay, I'm not paying for cable anymore.
Right,
But
no,
I'm
then-
going to pay this little bit for this month,
Yeah,
month,
yeah.
and then this little bit for that much a month.
I understand. What I like about the YouTube TV and the what's the others that are exactly the same? The
What are you
PlayStation TV.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like-
yeah.
The
Yeah.
great thing about those is when you want to cancel, You just go to the website and you hit cancel.
Yeah,
You don't call
definitely.
anybody. They don't try to continue to pitch you and stuff. You just cancel.
Yeah, I find that Xfinity X1 is just as easy to use as anything else.
Because you're a spokesperson,
I'm a
and I
spokesperson
appreciate
for
that.
Xfinity
Hashtag
X1.
ad.
I like Xfinity X1, and I'm not a spokesperson.
That's Comcast, right?
Yeah.
I have
They
nothing
offered-
against cable.
Yeah.
It was just easier.
It gets
to-
expensive.
It gets really expensive.
I was gonna
that
be-
along with the good internet because I need to have like extra better internet
For this here
normal.
show. I
Just for
was,
this here show.
they asked me to jump on board that Xfinity thing.
Well, give it to Autumn, and then she can get the deal.
Hi. I have experience in voiceover work.
I don't know what. I don't
Hello.
know. Who are you talking to?
Is somebody talking?
They
Me,
don't-
hi.
They did a deal.
Let her speak. She's talking to you about something important.
Somebody-
For October 9th. Shut up, Eric.
some
2019.
some company took over one or the other, and the deal that was made was that they're not allowed to be in Roswell.
Oh.
So I can't be the
Not
spokesperson.
allowed.
Yeah, Charter has to have that area.
Oh, Charter's. It's Charter's territory. This is like,
Yeah, it's
like
like-
a gang.
Well, that's why you know.
Great musical.
When you're X1, you're X1 all the way.
First cigarette.
That's why the PlayStation service, the Sling TVs of the world, and the YouTube TVs are going to really disrupt the market because you can't have these drawn out areas anymore like that.
Right, no, exactly.
Well, you just
that's
pick what you
that's,
want, right?
that's the whole thing, and that's why I'm not a spokesperson for YouTube TV because they're all the same. Sling.
Yeah, they're all internet-based TV
The great
shows.
thing is, though, I don't want this anymore. Do I have to call up and talk to somebody for an hour? No. I go on a website, I push a button. Click. That's it. Beep, boop. I don't get billed for 2 months and have to click it again. It's just click.
That's the noise it always
That's
makes when you do that. Bleep, bloop.
Goes
It's gone.
blip, bloop, and gone.
Bloop, bloop, bloop.
Bleep bloop.
Bleep Bloop's great.
I know they are.
I know. That's why he's on there. He's got.
I prefer clip clop. That'll be
know.
the new thing. We're using these onomatopoetic
Yeah.
words for like a group name or some music. It'll just be like, I
No.
love that.
What
have you
kind
heard,
of words?
Have you heard the new EDM artist? Oh, he is great.
Oh, I love.
Oh man, we went to see
My
last
favorite.
night. Oh
Sir
my
Toots
god!
a lot.
When they throw that dry ice out from the stage in those cannons, he does a lot of that right from his Yeah.
Hey, did I get any answer back from my podcast friends of whether or not I could do those?
That's a good question. Let me check.
I think maybe I went out of the thing. I think they wanted me to pick they wanted because they do a year, right? They wanted me to pick from maybe 1995.
They do two different podcasts
Crowded
at
House
the same
is
time.
Crowded House is the one I wanted to do.
Who
It was
is the
91.
podcast?
They have not written me back yet.
What's the riff?
What's the riff?
What the riff?
What the riff?
Oh, what the riff? Interesting.
They spent a lot of money with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, and I agreed to do their podcast.
I would love to do one of those with one of my favorite
know, I
riffs.
would
They would love to have
adore
you.
that.
I'm sure
I would
they'd
love
to.
to also. What
Oh,
the-
man.
Huh? What are you saying over there?
I like music.
Is there a buzzing?
Hi.
Is there a fly in
Hello?
here? What's happening?
What's the
Whoops,
riff?
my top is so tight.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
Hey.
oh, there she is.
I was wondering.
I was just admiring that denim
Yeah.
jacket, but you know what? I think I need to see the inside of that.
There's a problem with Autumn. She's very cute, but uh-oh.
Sorry. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Oh, my goodness. Sorry. Oh, sorry.
That's one of my favorite characters. Not because it's the fart, but it's the girl who's so damn hot.
Cute.
The only thing is she has a little
Can't
trouble.
control her gas.
Oh, sorry.
What were you saying? Did you get a new job today, hot girl?
Yeah, I got a new job today, and it was so. Oh, sorry.
I want her to say sorry about other things too.
Yeah. And I was talking to this girl that I work with. Oh, sorry. And I just wanted to like kiss her. You know, I got this weird feeling that I was like, are we going to kiss? Make. Oh, sorry. And she was like touching my arm. And I was like, whoa, this is intense. But I was like, oh, sorry. And then she was like brushing my hair. And I knew she was my friend. But then I was like, whoa, what if this is. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
Oh my goodness.
You know, it seems like the more excited she gets about her new girlfriend, the more it's like a nervous thing.
For some reason, the idea of a character is just so hot, but she has chronic flatulence. Because I know a lot of frat guys. I don't care. She's hot.
Whatever.
I certainly wouldn't care. In a different world, I would not care.
David Spade did a bit on his show recently, Lights Out, where he had this on the street bit with this really cute female comedian. I don't remember her name.
Yeah.
but he puts a fart noisemaker in her purse. or
Wait,
whatever.
he stole my act.
And then he's in a minivan on the street, and she starts to interview people on the streets of Hollywood about different things. And halfway through the question, she lets one go.
Hey,
It's
wait a
so
minute. How
funny.
long have we been doing that character? 3 years?
Yeah, a long time.
3
Well, you
years?
better take it up with David Spade.
More
but
than that,
he's
because
got
we
a
did
good-
it in the.
Yeah.
Didn't we do it in the?
All right, you see, now we got to retire it because he's David Spade,
Well,
and he's bigger than we
It
are.
was just a one-off. It was just a one-off. on
Well,
the street.
one-off.
Because
How much more of my material is this David Spade?
The whole thing was, if she wants to be on the show, she has to go through like a hazing thing to get on the show
Right.
and prove herself, which
Right.
really isn't true. But that's what he
But
did.
she's still the pretty girl farting.
Yeah.
I invented that.
Well, you better talk to Spade about some money.
Oh, boy.
He's got a great show, I tell you. I like it.
That is a good show.
Yeah.
No politics.
Well, I can't watch it because I can't watch all of my material being taken by others.
Yeah, he's like, get off my dragon.
Now you know how I felt when Jimmy Kimmel did Indians in Space.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Did that happen?
It happened long after we did it. A bunch of times we did it, and then all of a sudden, oh, hey, look, you guys are ripping off Jimmy Kimmel.
And now they wouldn't do it, and we wouldn't do it either because it's politically incorrect.
Nobody cover himself in
Trigger.
black makeup and pretend to be Karl Malone.
Yeah, Karl Malone.
Yeah, one of
Yeah,
our-
how come he never had to apologize for that, but his ex-girlfriend, Sarah Silverman, had to apologize for wearing blackface on her show?
Because it's not real, so who cares?
Well, no, I'm saying, why would either of them apologize?
Right.
They shouldn't.
They shouldn't, but why Kimmel did Malone for more than once on the Man Show?
I think he did it on Crank Yankers.
I
too.
hate all those guys. How can he do it on?
All right, let's move on.
Here we go. We're going to that
I
rabbit hole
like
now.
you.
Hey,
Always
Olin,
tell the same stories
Hold
about.
on, you remember the time that Kimmel called up and spoke to Eric's wife and was mad?
Yes, I know.
Because of
No,
me.
he yelled at you because he said
and then
something
Tim
about
Andrews. Years later, I found out it was Tim Andrews.
High five, Olin.
High five, Tim. Wait,
Yeah,
is he hanging?
Wake up at 3:00 in the afternoon.
All right.
Because I thought Andy Milonakis was his son. I didn't know Andy Milonakis was a real person. I thought that was his kid. And I said, oh, yeah, he's kind of chunky and fat.
But why didn't you own up to it? Why'd you throw me under the bus?
Hello, have you met? Do you remember
Hang on,
who
were
Tim
you-
was back then?
Eric, weren't you just guilty by association at that point? Wasn't that the idea?
No, because my former partner said it wasn't me, it was Eric. Call him. And then I'm sleeping. You know that kind of dead sleep at 3:00 in the afternoon when you do
that's
morning
the best.
radio.
Dreaming hard.
And who it is like the last thing in the world you expect is your wife is going to wake you up. Hey, Jimmy Kimmel's on the phone, huh? And he just yells at me for calling his kid fat.
Why wouldn't
And
she
I
take a
never
message?
called his kid fat.
Why wouldn't she just take a message? Hey, I'll call you back. He's sleeping.
I think she thought it's Jimmy. We
Might be a big deal.
knew him a little bit in Los Angeles. I don't know.
Can I please talk about, you just said that dream state.
Yeah.
I went into that state yesterday. In the afternoon, I took a
Is
nap.
that what a fugue state is, or is a fugue state more
different.
like a daydream, right?
Yeah, that's more, you're in a fog or whatever.
Yeah.
But this was a hardcore dream. No, not that.
Debbie does.
Where I kept thinking I had to go number 2.
Oh, no.
No. Let me tell you. I'll tell you. I'll never
No,
know.
I have
Go back to the porn. Go back to the porn.
Hold on. Let me ask you a question. Can I ask you a question?
go ahead.
Because this happens to me. Do you ever, in your dream, when you have to go to the bathroom, do you constantly have trouble getting to a bathroom that works? Yes. I had that dream.
And it was in this building, and I'm walking
Yeah.
around, and I'm like, I got to get back in the studio. And so I put my hand around to the back, and I thought, I'll pinch it off, which doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And then English Nick comes in and goes, come here, Pax Brown. I swear to God, this happened.
Okay, what does it mean when you dream about using the bathroom?
I know, and it was just like I just
I
kept.
don't want to find out we're both gay right now.
No. And then anytime I would it's like a wave in the dream, and they're like, oh, I got to go again, and then a little more would come out.
I have a dream that happens. It's been going on a good deal of my life. I have a couple of dreams that happen. They're kind of the same, but I guess this is a stress dream, and it's not. But it's not always about work. Sometimes it is. But the dream is, it starts out with me getting somewhere, whether I'm walking into a party, parking my car to go shopping, whatever, and then you fast forward. Really, there's not a lot of the dream of what I'm doing, and then it's me trying to get back to my car or find out where I was, and I can't get back there. And every once in a while, and I end up, I go from Athens, Georgia to the top of Mount Everest trying to find my car. It's weird.
Yep.
It's like I'm in all these different areas. And every once in a while, inside of that is, wow, I really have to go to the bathroom. And then every door, there's somebody in there, or you do go in there and the toilet is totally overflowed, so you can't use it.
Why don't you guys just wake up and go to the bathroom?
Well, you know what?
This kind of dream suggests that maybe we need to create a little time and space in our life to fit in some basic needs. It could be a sign that we're not allowing ourselves basic needs in life. We may be too busy, too engrossed, too caught up with caring for something or someone
The poop dream?
that we forget to take care of our most fundamental requirements.
You know, I got to say, I have a pretty good life, and I'm pretty much allowed to do really kind of almost whatever I want. So I don't know if that really applies to me.
Yeah, maybe
Unless it's just stress about
you put
whether
stresses on yourself.
Yeah. Like I just found out that we have 1 billion people in our audience, and I immediately think I want 1.5, and then I start having the stress dreams.
There's 1 billion listening to the radio.
Yeah, the China is turned off to the NBA, and they turned on to the von Haessler Doctrine. So I inherited 1 billion.
Ni hao. We should just start. Yeah, ni hao. Ni hao. We should just.
It's ni hua. It's not ni ho.
I didn't say ni ho. I said.
Uh-oh.
Ni hao. It's not ni hua.
Ni hua.
No, ni hao. Ni hao ma.
Autumn she used to teach languages.
Oh, I remember.
You might be speaking a different version of.
Ni hao.
It's whatever the Asian massage ladies.
I saw the best
Well,
minds
that's Vietnamese probably.
of the Chinese generation.
Well, then maybe it's Mandarin versus Cantonese.
You guys are walking all over my great joke. That's okay.
Sorry, I was so laughing at the lady.
You didn't let us finish our speaking to each other.
Because I didn't want to hear the end of it.
Ni hao ma.
This is like one of those dreams where I can't get to
Hey,
my
you got some
office.
brown stuff in your pants.
Why's your back brown?
Why is your back brown?
It's very. You did a great version of him in your dream, right?
Yeah.
Why's your back brown? Don't you think you would say that, Nick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey,
That's why it was
you
so
got some in
funny.
your hand, mate.
It was so spot on. Oh, it's him.
I think Brian Snicker took some of our advice from the radio show.
Oh, what's the lineup?
He is going to start Duvall in the 6th slot. Which where did I have Duvall?
Yeah,
in the 6th slot.
Okay, all right.
In the 6th slot, but he's keeping Acuna, Albies, Freeman, Donaldson, Markakis the same.
Can I say something? When I was watching the last Braves game at the Brew House with Jared and Tad, you know, I didn't grow up with baseball, and I've had to learn
you're a
how.
cricket fella.
But I've had to learn how baseball works. I still don't know a lot of the ins and outs, like lineups and stuff.
Yeah, me either.
Jared was sitting there, and he knew exactly why a certain person was batting and all this stuff.
Yeah, well,
it was crazy.
Jared played baseball.
I've played baseball.
Oh, okay.
Throughout
of
my
course
life.
you did.
He
You
was
like
a
baseball
pitcher.
player. I bet he was.
Yeah.
Let's just say
He he's a switch hitter, they say.
Yeah. But
Pitcher on the mound.
when I wasn't pitching, I was catching.
Yes, hey, look at that. There he goes. The comedy stylings of Jared Yamamoto appearing all week here at the Ha Ha Ha.
Dude, I just got a new roommate for the first time in a long time. My buddy Randy is my new roommate.
What? You have a roommate?
Well, 'cause I live in a house by myself.
Are you having a
He
wife?
needed-
He doesn't mind 19 dogs and a
It's
goat?
only 2 dogs. It's only 2 dogs.
And
He
a
loves
goat?
dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a goat in the
No,
house?
there's no goats. Tim, he's so serious.
Last time I was at his house, he had 9 dogs, 4 cats.
That's a bit of an over-exaggeration. But at one point there were, because there was 3 people in the house.
Yeah.
And dogs had been found and adopted, not planned on. There were 7 dogs at one point.
Hair everywhere. But I didn't judge.
Anyway.
Oh, itchy eyes.
Randy is a gamer, dude, right? So
Yeah.
he had this baseball, I guess the equivalent to like the FIFA game.
Mm-hmm.
And you can build your own player.
Oh, yeah.
We
It's fun.
built this Nick Parsons guy. He was 250 pounds.
Ah!
Big, almost like he was in Lord of the Rings. Big ears, big
a
beard,
blockhead.
Yeah.
mullet. Like, you know, and he's a hitter.
Like
and he's a
Donaldson.
he's a hitter and he's a third baseman. So when it's so funny to hear it when it's like batting third, Nick Parsons. I could listen to that
Yeah.
all day. It's so funny.
Is Josh Donaldson, like, is that he wants his hair to, is he dealing with, I mean, that's the strangest.
I think he's doing it intentionally.
Because it's mullet-like.
Yeah.
But it's also, it's not, it's shaped. Because it's nothing on the sides.
I think that's his style. He's been like that all season.
Yeah.
Surely he knows.
The beard's in the hair. They just plan. If they can get to October, then they plan to have it. Crazy.
Yeah.
Some of them.
If let me ask you this: if you had to pick one Braves player and he had to have a fist fight with Molina, I'd pick Donaldson.
Absolutely.
Although I think Molina would beat up any of the Braves.
I don't know, Acuna, man.
He's too kid-like. He's funny. He's I always think he's like goofy.
Oh, but he's got an attitude. I love that attitude with Acuna. He's the type of player. Him and Donaldson are the players that you want to have on your team. But if I were a Cardinals fan, I would hate those two players because of their attitude.
But you got to admit, when this is all said and done, and hopefully the Braves will just wipe them out, and it'll be a fun afternoon. I would say, if you lose, you don't have any favorite moments, right? But I would say if we win, definitely my favorite moment from the series was when Acuna was almost hit by the pitcher and Molina slow-walked Acuna to first base, standing between him and the pitcher.
Yes.
That was that was, to me, I just thought, this is fascinating.
I like Acuna.
Nobody's saying anything. It's a very slow walk.
Yeah. Well, in that pitch sequence, remember, the first pitch in that at-bat was up in Acuna's face.
No, Acuna wanted to go after him.
TBS did a great job of showing Martinez saying something to him. It looked to the effect of, B word, if I wanted to hit you, I would have hit you.
Right, yeah.
And then Acuna mouthed something back that you couldn't see.
See, that's the weird thing. And then they'll these baseball teams, they'll empty the dugouts of fights. But it doesn't matter what happens. Freddie Freeman's always got a good word for anybody who lands on first base.
Oh, he's a nice guy.
They're so chatty. What are they talking about? That's what I wanted to ask Peter Moylan. What are these? It's not just Freddie Freeman. He's just chattier than most. Like, you're playing. You're both trying to get to the World Series. It's the fifth inning. It's the game's within one run, and then there's this little hey, how you doing?
You kind of get to chill for a few seconds there, don't they?
But what are they talking? Do they talk about the game? Do they ask, hey, how's your Uncle Freddie? I heard he had some troubles.
They're friends in the off season.
Of course they are.
Of course, that conversation changes from a regular season game to a playoff game.
I don't know. I said in that first game that I think the same thing. Hey, how you doing? I just want to know what they're talking about.
Maybe he says, hey, nice hit. Like, nice whatever.
Way to go.
Compliments him, yeah. Because they do the same to each other if they're in the same position, maybe.
We asked Jay Black.
I like your spikes.
Jay Black would know.
Jay Black will know later.
Oh, he knows all that stuff.
I know right now. What's your question?
What is Freddie Freeman chatting with the guy who lands on first base? What's he saying? What's he saying to him?
Well, they could be saying a number of different things. They could be talking about a game maybe like a year or two ago, or maybe, hey, we play each other in AAA or AA or whatever, and, or maybe I, hooked up with your sister. Is she still doing all right? Or brother, I don't know. I mean,
they could be talking about Mr. Biscuit.
They could be. They could be talking about Mrs. Biscuit.
The Biscuit Mobile is starting to stick. I heard Doug Turnbull using it the other day. So,
well, I keep farting in it.
What a great way to end a podcast with the fake Jay Black on playoff game day.
Hello, St. Louis. You ever go to the Lincoln Memorial and sit on Lincoln's lap?
Oh, yeah.
When you think about how many people have farted on his lap over the years.
Elon Musk has a lot to answer for this week on the Von Haessler Show.
You're a great American.
I'm so upset, but you can hear me on another market at 3.
That's right. Sorry, Sean. We'll be on from 3 to 4 this afternoon.
Yeah, okay, great.
We gotta help people get into the stadium or get around all that.
Oh, boy, they'll never be able to do it without you.
Abraham Lincoln. Honest Abe. Bye.